And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the Sparkling Tuna Cup number 71. A very special edition, the PTR edition. I'm, of course, your side VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in the chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the PTR edition. We are here to do our duty here. We're here to do some testing on the public test realm. We have our first series. We're going to be jumping into Demi versus Rebellion. Let's go. We are going to be jumping in, and game one is going to be on Snowpiercer. As we do quickly set things up, and here we go. Spawning in the top right corner of Snowpiercer, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing himself, currently teamless. It is Rebellion. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Indian Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Matcherino Esports. It is Demi, aka Storm Spirit. Here we go. But again, welcome one and all to the PTR. Alas, there have been some changes since the last PTR tournament we casted. As Demi is opening up with a proxy hatchery. Now, of course, this is not our only event that we've casted on the PTR. Likewise, the KSRC alongside the Pigosaur Cup was also on the PTR. KSL this week was not. They were tempted, and I do believe the next KSL will be, but the current one, or the most recent one, was not. And again, we're here to try to test out the new maps, the new patch, the new balance. Let's go. let us go, as Demi does kick things off with the initial proxy. Also, before I get ahead of myself, if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you believe will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat, as I quickly do fix up the player names and get things going. Another thing to bear in mind as well is that because this is on the PTR, some of the players are also experiencing this for the first time. We do see Rebellion. He does scout. He does confirm the hatchery is missing. He confirms the timing of the gas and the spawning pool, and he responds with a Forge. So far, so good. Forge responds at a Rebellion to try to wall off with shield batteries and cannons, try and survive the aggression of a Demi, and likewise, he's also scouted the proxy as well. So again, our Protoss Rebellion is fully aware of what is happening. Is fully aware, is setting up. Hatchery likewise completing, and the Lings are on the way. And we'll see if Rebellion can make this work. Bearing in mind, Rebellion does not pull the boys, so he's not going for a spine rush. So no spine crawlers alongside this. Lings are on the way. Queen as well. Looks like Demi, he's going for a bit of a different response though. He's expanding, he's transitioning. So Demi, this is not an all-in. This is designed to force an overreaction and delay the expansion. But Rebellion's base is not too far behind. The Nexus is about to finish up. Lings do slip into the main. Do manage to slip in. Cannons are finishing up. It's going to be 2 cannons here for Rebellion, and we've seen this quite often from Demi. Again, his goal here is to force an overreaction, to drone up back at home, and to get into muta play. Typically, mutas are the answer for Demi. As Lings, they do try to dive in once again. 2 of them do go down, and back at home, he's droning. He's happily droning up. I should also fix the in-game name as well. I got you. Bam. There we go. We'll fix that in-game name. Demi from here, again, he's just rallying his Lings. He's rallying his drones back home. Saturating is natural. Already has 9 workers saturating. Rebellions is still yet to be saturated himself. Again, because he invested so heavily into this defense. Remember, 2 pylons, cannon, shield battery, forge, delayed cyber core, delayed tech as well because of everything else. Was this worth it in the end, though, for Demi? That is going to be the question. Still yet to be determined. I mean, Demi does have the lair on the way. I mentioned before that this usually goes into 2-base muta. So Demi is trying to rush into those mutas. He's still maintaining map control with those Lings as well. And Rebellion just now going for his own Stargate. Stargate gets thrown down just under the 4-minute mark. Again, very delayed. There is no Overlord poised to scout. Yet to do so for Demi. Yet to jump in. The hatchery is going to fall. Back across the map, Hallucination Scout from Rebellion will actually confirm what's going on, and he sees the lair. He knows. I mean, in a way, he knows. The lair could be a couple different things. It could be like some kind of crazy Nidus all-in. It could be a Hydra rush. Could be a 2-base muta. there are options. Even something crazy like 2-base Swarm Host, for example. Gas is now being taken. If Rebellion is familiar with Demi, then he should recognize that something like Mutaplay or Spire Play is definitely in the cards. Going for a Drop Lord into the main, though. Let's go. Drop Lord is morphing in. The Lings, they are going to be loading up. And I believe Rebellion has no vision. Yeah, no vision of the corner of his lane. He has no idea what's going on. Lings are going to be dropping in. Oh, they're spotted. Lings are spotted. There is going to be that one warp in. Demi tries to dive into the mineral line. So far, good reaction here by Rebellion. Doesn't lose a single unit. Not yet. Doesn't lose any probes. He's got the Void Ray. And he will defend. Lings, they go for the pylon. They're not going to get it. Oh my god, that was a big investment. A lot of Lings go down. Was not worth it so far for Demi. And there's that transition. There's the Spire. Not just the Spire. There was a Hydrogen on the way for a moment, but there we go. It is going to be the... Oh, yeah, both. Hydrogen and Spire. Interesting. Meanwhile, Rebellion, he did throw down the Fleet Beacon, rushing into a mothership. Okay. Let's go. Bearing in mind that that is a -400 unit now. No longer 300. Did make it a little bit more expensive, but they did buff it in other ways. The new mothership, the new and improved mothership now, of course, does extra DPS. Now actually can, you know, add to the fight itself. Can no longer be abducted, which won't be a factor this early on. Mothership is, yeah, rushing into a mothership this early on is something that I'm not used to seeing. So we'll see how this turns out. Void Ray going for a scout, gets eyes on all the gases. Seeing all these gases again, it should scream either Hydroplay or Mutaplay. But the last Rebellion has yet to confirm. Meanwhile, the mothership has arrived. And do we do something crazy? Do we go for a recall across the map? We've seen this before. The last time we saw this was actually... Oh god, who was it? Was it Azura versus Demi on Cosmic Sapphire? I think that's the last we saw, but... Oh. So far, the Lings, they do spot the mothership. He knows. Demi, he is aware he's pulling back. Mutas are on the way. They're amassing as we speak. And the recall... He's getting ready for it across the map. How much do we have? A mass sentry stalker. The goal here is to force field the ramp and to end the game. The mothership is coming. Let's go. It's been years since I've seen this build, but it actually happened against Demi. I think it was Azura. It may have been like Arrow Fire. I can't fully remember. I think it was Azura. I'll actually message Demi after this. But there it is. Recall into the main. Oof. The Stalker Sentry has arrived. The 2-base all-in is here. 8 sentries, 8 Stalkers. Does engage, does have those force fields. It doesn't quite throw them down. Throws down the slow zone though. And is it going to be enough? The Muta's doing what they can. And GG gets called. Looks like there's just too much Protoss, and Rebellion takes game number 1. GG. He's crazy. GG, well played. Commits to the 2-base all-in with the counter. Mothership rush, recalling into the main. And alas, Demi was caught with his pants down. Again, he just did not have enough to defend. Mutas, they got to harass, but in a head-on fight like that, especially that early on with 11 Mutas, they don't really do too much. Likewise, Demi, he was fighting in a slow zone as well with his Lings and Mutas, so the slow zone was brutal. GG. GG, well played. Rebellion does take the first game, and now we're jumping into game number 2. It's going to be on Whispers of Gold. Now, I do apologize. I wasn't quite able to talk much about the map itself, just because we just dove right into, you know, proxy hatchery, so things popped off immediately, and did need some time to recover there. We'll try to delve into Whispers of Gold this time. I'll do my best. Getting into that second game. As a reminder, we are not going to be incorporating any of the older maps in this map pool for the PTR tournament. So there's no Alcyone, there's no Golden Aura, there's no Side Delta, none of that. Just purely the newer maps. And Hecate. So now jumping to game number 2. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing himself, currently teamless. It is Rebellion. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Indian Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Matcherino Esports. It is Demi. Here we go. The rush distance by ground is shorter on Whispers of Gold. Likewise, the expansion pattern is very interesting as well. You can see this kind of like wide area between the natural and the would-be third. The fourth base as well, very unorthodox in its kind of setup, is also very exposed, very wide open as well. I do see a lot of Queen Walk and 2-base all-in potential in this map. I'm referring to like German taxis, Queen Walks across the map, off of like 60 drones. Meanwhile, Demi, he commits once again to the proxy hatchery. It has been his go-to, and he has been able to cause some crazy upsets in the past. I believe he took down Nightmare by going for this very same opener, but Rebellion, he is quick to scout, quick to respond. He does get eyes on the hatchery already, because doing this build 2 games in a row, it takes away that surprise factor. Rebellion, he was already on notice after game 1, and now he is aware in game 2. Is fully aware of what's going on. Here we go. So we are going to be settling in. Also, I'm glad to hear that we do have some of our players finding their way into the PTR. Some players even downloading it for the first time, but they're getting there. Meanwhile, the Forge has been placed. It's going to be the Gauge Cyber into a later Forge, this time an earlier Cyber Core for Rebellion. Demi already expanding back at home. Rebellion does confirm. Big scout for Rebellion. Now he knows that, again, this just isn't really too committed from Demi. Again, there's no Spine Rush. No Spine Rush. We do see Rebellion. He responds with a second pylon and now a cannon, just to be safe and secure. Once again, he's checking for any Spine Crawlers. He hasn't seen anything too wild yet. Hasn't seen anything yet. So you can see Demi going for the pylon, but Lassa Cannon is about to finish. Hasn't seen anything. It does finish up. You can see Demi, he's set up for the Overlord drop into the main. Layers on the way. So again, same build so far by Demi. Everything looking as it should. Rebellion once again, I mean, this time he didn't really delay his expansion for too long, so he's still just probing up. He's feeling safe here with just the one cannon and the one shield battery. So this time a cleaner response by Rebellion. So far at least, without losing anything. I mean, Link speed is about to kick in, and Demi, he's hoping to try to catch out that Stalker. Ideally, Demi would like to bait it out. Hatcher taking a lot of damage. Demi spreading creep backwards from across the map. Creep is spreading. Demi saturating his base. Remember, last game, Demi had like, I want to say around an 8 drone lead, but here we're neck and neck. Again, because Rebellion has been focusing on this economy. Going for a Robo follow-up. Meanwhile, drop a load into the main. Rebellion this time will not have a Void Ray to defend though. You'll only have these gateway units. There we go. Hatchery goes down. Drop Lord diving in. Demi getting supply blocked. Ooh, a heavy supply block. 3 Overlords on the way. But here come the Lings. They're dropping in. They dive into the mineral line. Oh, getting 2 probes already. Later reaction by Rebellion. 4 probes. Oh my god. 4 probes. 5, 6 probes go down. Not bad. Almost 7. But not quite. 7 workers. Regardless, this time a much better response or much better harassment by Demi. Last game we got 0 probe kills. This time 6. And Demi is not going into Mutas. He's going into 2 base Hydra. Okay, he's mixing it up. Demi is mixing it up here. But so is Rebellion. I mentioned before that he went for a Robo response, not a Stargate, which means he's building up towards an earlier push. Last game, we had Rebellion waiting until we had the mothership of all things to move out across the map. This time, we're getting to charge, getting into the War Prison to reinforce across the map. We're not taking extra gases. It's going to be a two-way charge all in. But Lings, they dive back in once again. They drop back into the main. 2 more probes. The drop load putting in a lot of work. Rebellion's push is being delayed. Another probe goes down. 4 probe kills in total. Rebellion does push. Meanwhile, back at home, Demi throwing down a wall of spine crawlers, 2 spine crawlers to defend. Lings and Hydras are amassing as well. And the creep does let Demi know that he's coming. The Rebellion's on the way. Demi cutting workers at 2 base saturation, 44 drones, no saturation whatsoever at the 3rd. Just purely Ling Hydra. And with the help of those spine crawlers, it should be enough. Demi should be okay. But it'll come down to the execution. We go. So hatchery is going to go down. Up. Lings collapsing in. So far, Rebellion is trading well, but the Hydras, they shut down the Zealots. Yeah, they shut down the Chargers. They force back the army. Demi holds. May have lost his 3rd, true, but, I mean, still ahead in workers. He's ahead in economy. He's ahead in tech, with the Hydra upgrades on the way. He only really lost Lings and a base. Only minerals. And Demi's looking secure. Rebellion, I mean, there's nothing behind this. There's no 3rd. I mean, there's creep covering every 3rd base. He can't expand. Rebellion is trying to. Oh, the flank! Oh, Demi comes in from behind, shuts down the prism, and now he can push. Now he can move out across the map, and Rebellion cannot expand. Yeah, there's no shot. There's no way he can establish this base. He's gonna try. 3rd base is on the way. We have some sentries for force fields. That'll help. But Demi is pushing in. Yeah, there's no way to save this base. It's not gonna happen. Not like this. Meanwhile, a Ling Hydra drop into the main. Let's go. Getting into the mineral line. Distracting Rebellion, forcing a recall. Rebellion will defend. And Demi, he can just chill. He can just drone. He can just drone up, saturate his 3rd, just focus on denying the 3rd base of his opponent, and tech up. Hive is already on the way. Hive is on the way. Lurker Den is on the way as well. Rebellion does rotate. Does push. See someone asking in the chat, they're both pro players, so I mean they're both comparable in skill, I would say. Both Demi and Rebellion. Rebellion is going to be looking for a dive, head into the main, going for the force field. No Ravagers, no Ravagers whatsoever. Massive warp into the main. Let's go. Rebellion now positioning. He can force for days. I was about to say, but another sentry goes down. Does fly too close to the sun. Hydras, they're trickling in. They're trickling into the main. Another force field. Do we have another warp in available? So far, catching Hydras. The main army just tried to push in, but Lurkers are in position. Demi, he's holding. No major losses yet. And there's no other force field available. Let's also get into the middle line. Drones are going down. Demi, he does defend against the main army. Oof, oh my god, but 19 drones full. Oh my god. 19 workers. Ay, ay, ay. Does cripple the economy, but Demi's still up in drones. Zelte coming from a flank. Fungal does land. Demi's still holding on. Another warping into the main. Rebellion's still looking for another way in. Going for the spawning pool. Won't quite get it. Ambitious move. Sporting Pool is saved. Zelse tried to bypass the lurkers, pushing into natural. It's not going to be enough. GG gets called. Demi, he holds. And we are going to the ace match. GG. Whew. We are going into game 3. Let's go. GG, well played. Okay, 1 minute as we'll try to sort things out. Beautiful. Sorry, so it looks like there were a couple of players that weren't quite able to make it to the PTR. Again, it is a bit of a process to download and to get it all set up. So there are going to be some walkovers in the bracket, which is unfortunate. But this series will continue. Basically, it was Wayne and Mirwin in the bracket that weren't quite able to make it to the PTR. So walkovers are going to be handed out. And then we can jump on in to the ace match. Okay, sorry, just experiencing a lobby bug. Nice. We'll have to relog. But yeah, honestly, this could go either way. Could go either way here between Demi and Rebellion. The question becomes, is Demi once again going to go for the proxy hatch into a very similar build? I mean, we saw game 1, he tried to go into mutas. Game 2, he tried to go into 2-base Hydra. Game 3, 2-base Swarm Host. Maybe. Maybe. Or he might just revert back into muta play. He might this time commit into an all-in and go for a spine rush. He's got options. Demi does have options here with how he does want to play it out. But I just have to restart my client. Is this a first series match? Yes, yes. This is the first best of 3 of the night. When it comes to the patch notes, I mean, there's been a lot of there's definitely been a lot of changes. I think what I appreciate the most is that we also had not just the initial changes, but we had some updates to the changes as well. There we go. Beautiful. But we did recently have an update to the balance patch, so we had additional changes. I'm not too fond of some of them. I do think when it comes to the revised changes that were provided a couple of days ago, that they were a little bit quick to revert some changes, and a little bit quick to respond to feedback without too many events going on. So that's, I'm a little bit... I'm very much so on the fence of, I'm not too fond of that idea, but I do like that they kind of listened to feedback in general and they still did add extra changes. Like I'm referring to the ghost changes, for example, to the ghost nerf. But that was only, remember, that was all only off of 1 week of testing, and I don't know if that was like, if that's enough to like, you know, be able to like to be able to have a firm stance on whether a change should or shouldn't be reverted. So yeah, that's interesting. For those that are curious, I believe the reversions were the Broodlord changes, the Cyclone was reverted as well, and I believe there was another reversion as well, a third one. But we can get into it. As for now, we are loading into Hecate, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Hecate, we have our South Korean Protoss player. Ooh, I will fix up the player names here. One moment. We'll fix this up. But spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our South Korean Protoss player. The red Protoss, it is Rebellion. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Indian Zerg player, the blue Zerg representing Majorino Esports. It is Demi. Here we go. Here we go. Elephant in the room is a ghost is still powerful as before. Yeah, I mean, everyone knows that. I mean, everyone knows that the ghost change doesn't really affect TVP as much. For those that are curious, the ghost change that has forces supply to increase mainly affects late game TVZ and TVP as well, but it mainly affects the late game. The issue with the current ghost nerf is that it doesn't affect the mid game and the mid to late game of TVP, which is what needs to be addressed more than anything. I don't think people are necessarily being like, oh, ghosts are so powerful in late game TVP when the army is maxed out and when you have so many ghosts. It's even before that the power of the ghost is felt in the Terran versus Protoss matchup. So I would agree that the main issue in that matchup was not addressed with the change, and I would be behind another change being implemented in its stead or just additionally. So yeah, I mean that's what everyone knows. Like we've seen plenty of pro players, both Protoss and Terran, say that as well. To be like this, it's like a ghost nerf, but it doesn't like address the issue. So it's like kind of weird. It mainly addresses TVZ. I think most would agree on that. But that's only because in TVZ you see late game a lot more often because of turtling, right? It is a lot more frequent that in the TVZ matchup, a Terran would turtle up, the game would go to the late game a lot more commonplace in that matchup, more so than TVP. But regardless, we're not in a TVP or a TVZ, we're in a ZVP. There we go. That was a lot of letters. And Demi did not go for the proxy hatch. He's setting up back at home, so hatch gas full, standard opener out of Demi. Meanwhile, Rebellion back at home going for a Twilight Council opener. Is going for the Twilight Council opener. Shield battery being thrown down. And Demi's going for Ling Flood. Let's go. It's going to be a Ling Flood here from Demi. He's going to be moving out across the map. And we'll see if Demi can break the natural. No shield battery. And the Adepts are still on the way. There's Sawdust behind this. Stalker is under fire. There's a probe to wall off. And we need to wall. There we go. Gateway gets thrown down. The Stalker does get picked off. Links, can they flood in? Oh, barely not. Warp gates will complete. It is not going to be denied. And the warp gates are on the way. Demi, he's trying to break through this, and it's all or nothing. Demi now droning up. Oh, God. This is not the time to drone. Takes down the Cyber Core. Nice force fields. Without the Cyber Core, that means only Zealots can be warped in. And Demi, he cannot break this. He will not break this position. Rebellion will hold, and Demi's in a rough place. He's got a lot of droning to do now, and I know that he started droning in the middle of the all-in, but the problem here is that it's very middle of the road. You know, it's either you commit or you try to fake out aggression. The problem is that he committed quite hard to this, and as a result, Demi's in a really rough position. From here, Rebellion, he can now finish up his own glaives. Remember, it was a glaive adept opener, and now he can move out, and now he can have his way with those links. So Glaives is now finishing, the War Prism has arrived, and now it's time for Rebellion to hit the field. Meanwhile, Demi back at home, trying to set up. Roach production has begun. Additional gateways on the way. Interesting. So this was originally going to be 4 gate glaives, but now we have additional gates on the way behind this. Jesus, that's a lot of gates. It's going to be a 2 base, 7 gate all in. So 7 gates in total, 5 are done, 2 more on the way. And here come the Adepts. Roaches, they do pop out to zone them away, but the Adepts, they can just commit to the shade. They can, and they will. Lings are in position to try and deny them. Oh, here come the Force Fields! Oh my god, Force Fields the ramp, no Ravagers! Ooh. The Queen is within range. Oh my god, the Prism's gonna be going down. Massive pickoff. Prism falls, no more reinforcements, and Demi holds! Let's go! He's holding! Prism goes down, and remember, there is no third. There is no third expansion. This was an all-in. This was very committed here by Rebellion. If the Warpin had completed, then maybe a different story. But without that War Prism, this is falling on its face. More Adepts moving out. Demi getting in position. Does have his Roaches ready. Adepts, they do get 1. They get 2 drone kills. Only 2. 2 workers go down. Demi, he's stabilizing, and Rebellion has not made a worker in quite some time. Earlier, Rebellion was, even if not ahead in the probe count, now he's far behind. He's got 36 probes, just now taking a 3rd base. Ling was in position to scout and confirm. Demi is fully aware. And Demi can just build up back at home, defend against the Adepts, which he has vision of, and then try to break the 3rd. He just to break the 3rd location. Here we go. Demi very much the underdog. Illegal has him. I wouldn't necessarily trust those numbers from Illegal. I mean they take into account. Well, I don't know if they take into account like activity of the players and how often they play. But yeah, I would, as I said before, I would say that Demi and Rebellion were quite close in skill, or are quite close in skill. And Rebellion's not forced into an all-in. He's getting a 3rd base. Now he's pushing through the center. And it's all or nothing. Can he break in? Does rotate around towards the 4th. Roaches are massive. Even if Demi is forced to cancel, like this, it's not really a big loss here for him. He's just buying time, building up more Roaches, building up Ravagers as well. There's a cancel on the expansion. That is a lot of Adepts. They don't commit. Ooh, Ravagers are exposed. Rebellion doesn't dive in. Demi does consider collapsing forward. Rebellion behind this is making probes. He's trying to saturate his 3rd. Taking extra gases. But eventually Demi will break out. We'll be able to break out here. You can see back at home, it looks like Rebellion is trying to get into Disruptor production. But that's still a ways off. As Rebellion, he's just dancing with the army. He's just trying to keep Demi distracted, keep him pinned back at home while he attacks and while he probes. Overseer Scout comes in. Demi, did he get eyes on the tech? He did not. Ooh, he did miss the bay. But he's just going for a Roach counterattack. He just moves on out, gets into the mineral line. Probes are falling. It's gonna be 5 probe kills already. Can even deny the warp in. Now, this is going to be an expensive run by for Demi. He will lose all these Roaches, but he does get 5 probes. And he actually escapes with a good chunk of his Roaches as well. Not bad. Does get away. First Disruptors in production. War Prisms across the map. Demi is about to max. And the scary thing about Rebellion's position here, typically something like Disruptors would be a good way to bounce back in this game, but Disruptors, they have been changed quite a bit, and specifically against Roach Ravager, Disruptors are less effective. Earlier, or at least in the current patch, Disruptors, they can one-shot Roach Ravager. Now it takes 2 shots. It takes 2 shots to kill Roach Ravager. So Demi, he can afford to take some shots to the face and can power through it. And even if that wasn't the case, even if this was the previous or the current iteration of the Disruptor, even if they could one-shot, Demi's maxed. Demi's maxed out. 1 Disruptor, 2 Disruptors. I don't see it being enough here to hold. Like, Demi's just that much far ahead. And here we go. He's pushing in. Nova grazes the army. Oh no, disruptor from behind, it went down. The flanking roaches. The second disruptor falls, and Demi, he will break this. Stelter steps forward. And a GG gets called. Demi will take the 2-1, will advance on over Rebellion. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. A very chaotic game. Winding it back, remember, Demi, he initially went for the Link Flood that failed. And if you recall, I was concerned for Demi, sorry. I was concerned for him because after that failed all-in, I was like, oh, the Glaive Adepts are going to do a lot of damage. But it wasn't just 4-gate Glaive Adepts. Remember, it was 7-gate. It was 2-base, 7-gate all-in. It was a very committed counterattack by Rebellion. And I'll be honest, it could have worked. If only the War Prism wasn't sniped. Remember, the War Prism got sniped, the Warp-In was denied, Rebellion lost control of the main, he didn't have to be committed in such a way, but he was, and with that, GG. GG, well played. Demi will take the series, will survive the chaotic nature here of Rebellion, and will advance on to the quarterfinals. GG, well played. And now we can take a moment here to have a look at the bracket and to figure out where exactly we are. !B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. We do have quite a lot to go over. Now, unfortunately, there were some walkovers. We mentioned before that some players, they weren't quite prepared to play on the PTR. I think they just assumed that it was just going to be a regular tournament, just a regular event. So because of that, Wayne and Mirwin were not able to compete, so there were some walkovers in the first round. That means that Nick Ratch is up against Dave Latos in the quarterfinals. Best of luck. Best of luck in the chat, or best of luck to our two players here in their series. Likewise, Demi advances on to face up against Nightmare, a Korean Protoss player. Nightmare is one of the favorites to win the entire tournament. He is the #1 seed, alongside Christiana, of course, as the #2 seed. Christiana is in the lower half of the brackets, waiting for his opponent. Likewise, Eva is going up against Honmono. I believe they are currently mid-series. I believe they are currently duking it out. Honmono was also a replacement player. There was another player that was not able to, was not aware of the PTR. So Honmono, he jumps in. He's up against Eva. They're currently mid-series. And that is a tempting one to jump into. Very tempting. We'll see if we do get there. Likewise, Fiant is up against Hacker is top in the first round as well. Facing off in the first round, winner goes up against Down in the quarterfinals. Oh boy. Now, when it comes to Demi versus Nightmare, I have been notified that, likewise, Nightmare was unaware, or he did not have the PTR ready. Nightmare was also waiting in the base game, so he is currently downloading the PTR. From my understanding, he is currently downloading the PTR. Nightmare, is he going to make it in time? You know, Korean internet is renowned for being the fastest in the world, or at least it was for a long time. Is it going to be enough for Nightmare to be ready with the PTR and to play against Demi, or is it going to be a walkover? He has 15 minutes. He has 15 minutes here to download the PTR and to jump in. We'll see if he can. And I would love to see a rematch. I mentioned before that recently Demi did defeat Nightmare. It was in OC King of the Hill, if I remember correctly. So Demi, he popped off against Nightmare last week. Will he do it again, or will Nightmare get his revenge? Will they even play? That's the better question. That's, yeah, true. Is the better question. It's catching up in the chat. Eva as Protoss or Zerg? That's a good question. Very good question. Here we go. Yo, I see Azura in the chat. I see Azura in the chat. I don't see Azura in the bracket. What's going on? We have Zaun, but we're missing Zaun's biggest fan. Este Azura. Ay. What do you think about the new patch? I haven't been able to dive into the newest changes. In general, I think it's moving in a good direction. I do think there are definitely things that need to be adjusted. Like, we spoke about this during the podcast, but, sorry, I don't want to be left behind some of these matches. But we spoke about this during the podcast, about how Obviously, the biggest concern currently is keeping an eye on the overcharge change, right? It's keeping an eye on it to make sure that Protoss players aren't, randomly dying to 2 base all-ins or anything like that, and making sure that, we can adjust numbers and make sure that that's fine and make sure that that isn't an issue. The biggest thing that I don't think was I think my biggest issue with the patch is what wasn't addressed. I'm referring to the ghosts in TVP, and I'm referring to the Raven in TVT. I know that a lot of Terran players are also a little bit frustrated that nothing was changed there, just because late game TVT just turns into Raven versus Raven. Like it turns into that kind of dynamic, and I don't think that's necessarily something that they necessarily enjoy. But maybe a Terran player can speak a little bit more on that when it comes to changing the Raven to try to deal or address that issue in Terran versus Terran. But if you want, I guess, some of our more in-depth thoughts, we went over the patch during the podcast like 2 weeks ago. Fun fact, it was so unlucky that we released our podcast this week, and it was hours later. It was hours later that the new PTR patch was announced. After the podcast. It's like, what the hell, guys? So we'll probably talk about it in a couple of days. We'll have a after casting some more of these PTR tournaments, we'll have some hopefully some more in-depth thoughts about the changes. And we'll get into it on Thursday. Podcast day. Forgot to set an alarm. No. Este Azura. Why you don't care that I'm not in the... True. I even messaged you, Lunacy. I DM'd you on Discord. Este Lunacy. You also didn't check in. Aye. Shaking my head. Este Luna. But yeah, with that, it looks like we're still waiting for some of our players to show up. I think late game PvZ favors P even more now. This is one of those things where I need to see it in action. I think you're referring to, I mean, the most recent announced change was the mothership. Right now, the mothership isn't going to be abductable, which is a pretty big change for PvZ. I feel like in a perfect world, or I should say in a perfect game with perfect like Protoss control, the mothership should never die. Right? I don't think the mothership should ever die. It should always be like placed behind the Skytos army somewhat, and it should only die if we have like a committed dive from the Zerg player. So with some delicate micro and some good babysitting, should be able to survive like in a lot of these late game engagements. And because of that, yo, they killed the meme. -400. Now it's not as applicable because we're not gonna see it die. Smooge. But again, at the end of the day, I do think that we need to see it in action. We need to see like if that's the case, and what the counterplay looks like, for example. So yeah, that's why I'm excited to cast more of these events, to cover more of these tournaments. But I do think that it isn't. I do think that it probably is an issue that needs to be addressed. As we just got an update. But what I'm referring to is the fact that the mothership became a meme probably isn't a good thing, like gameplay-wise. Like, it's always a lot of fun, being in the chat and laughing at the mothership for many, many years at this point whenever it dies, right? Because it's so expensive. And it's just the first, it's literally the first thing to die in a fight, right? Like in a late game PvZ fight, it's the first thing to die, and everyone expects it to die. It's like, mate, you're being made just so you can like, cloak for like a couple of seconds, throw it down the slow zone, and then you're just gonna insta-die, and everyone knows it. So that probably isn't like the best design. Like thinking about it, right? It's like building a unit that just dies instantly. It's like, well, I should say is the main priority target and just dies instantly. So the idea of giving it more longevity or giving it some more support. Makes sense, because it's meant to be, you know, a mothership. Like, it's meant to be like a capital ship. It's meant to be a powerful unit. You can only make one of them as well. So I understand the logic behind that. I think I get behind that. But that's also where, like, tweaking has to come into play and balance and, you know, make sure that that it isn't something that can't be dealt with, right? Oh. Meanwhile, I was going to be getting ready for our next series. This just in, Fiant takes down Hackers top 2-1. Fiant is about to go up against Xeon. And I was about to cast Fiant versus Xeon, but we just got an update. It looks like we do have a walkover. Nightmare was unable to download the PTR in time. Demi gets the walkover over Nightmare, and that means Demi is going up against Nicaract in the first semifinals. It is a bit of a shame that, again, there are these walkovers, but ideally, because these walkovers are happening today, ideally for the next PTR tournament, all these players that didn't have the PTR downloaded, now they will. You know, now they will have them downloaded, and now, you know, in these future events, in the Pigosaur Cup, in the KSRC, in KSL, in the next STC and TTT, then, you know, all these players will hopefully be ready for that. With the PTR downloaded, I mean. So it is unfortunate that we have these walkovers, but you know, hopefully that is fixed for the next one. Here we go, just need a moment to get things ready. Beautiful. So it looks like vetoes are done, and we are jumping into our first semifinals of the night. Let's go. As a reminder, we will be casting both semis, upper and then lower semifinals as well. Here we go. We have our first semis. Game 1 is going to be on Ultra Love. Oh boy. Let's go. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have our Red Terran player, the Red Terran for the Platinum Heroes. It is Nicaract. Not Rebellion. Uh-oh. We'll have to fix that. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the Indian Zerg player, the Blue Zerg representing Maturino Esports. It is Demi. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is time to get your gauntlet going. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Best of luck. Best of luck in the chat. As we do enter another one of our newer maps. Now, what I appreciate out of Ultra Love, it is very aesthetically pleasing. Is very aesthetically pleasing. I mean, we have the vortexes being thrown down. We have some ley lines kind of like pulsing throughout the map as well. Like, it's nice, like, aesthetically. But the biggest feature of this map is just how defendable it is. Ooh, as it's going to be a 2-Rax Reaper opener out of Nicaract. What I mean by that, we have a ramp coming into the natural. We have a narrow choke point coming into the third. We have a tower that can be knocked down to wall this area off. Likewise, we have like choke points and ramps all over the place. All over the map. If there were ever to be a turtle map in the new map pool, it's this. It's Ultra Love. 100%. 100%. Just so many choke points, so many ramps, so many towers, destructible rocks. So because of that, this map can be prone to something like a late game scenario, but we'll see if we can get there. As again, Nicaract is opening up with Mass Reaper, or with 2-Rax Reaper. So 2-Rax Reaper moving out. Meanwhile, back at home, Demi going Hatch Gas full, standard opener. So far, so good. The Overlord moves out, and Demi will get eyes on the Raxus. The biggest feature of this map is the power of love. Oh, no. Ah. Saranghae. Here we go. Reaper's moving out. Again, Demi's fully aware. Back at home, he should be going for a delayed third. The drone is on the way here. We'll see if he does commit to the third base, or if he delays it, keeps it hidden, and does prioritize Queen production. Link speed is on the way. First Reaper does dive into the mineral line. Links are ready for the time being. Oh, nice control. Demi pulls back. Pulls away the weakened lane. You can see that Nickrat is looking for the drone. He's hunting for the worker. Does confirm no third base yet. Diving into the main. And again, it's on Demi to keep up with the rotations of Nickrat. So far, so good. Reapers are deflected. Back at home, Nickrat is transitioning. He's getting up to 4 Reapers, and that is going to be enough to force a cancel on the expansion, and Demi has yet to expand. So again, Demi's playing it safe. Basically, when you're up against 2x Reaper like this, it is considered safe to delay your third and make an extra pair of queens. So Demi, he invests into a 3rd and 4th queen, then he expands. Likewise, he has pulled out of gas, so he's not going for like a Bane Bust response or anything crazy like that. Oh, another queen goes down though. The first queen does fall. Does he get another? Up! Oh my god, massive pick off. 2 queens go down. Link speed does kick in. And does Demi punish? Looks like he will. Catches 2 Reapers. There's 2 left. Diving into the main. Demi, he's on the chase. He will eventually shut this down. But this was worth it for Nickrat. I mean, there's a bit of a give and take. Nickrat, he was going to lose map control anyway because of Link speed, but sniping 2 queens was massive. On top of that, third base was delayed. And what was it all for? What was it all for with 2 queens falling? Back at home, we have a full wall, stim is in production, bunker is ready just in case there was a Bane Bust follow-up. This is a bit of an overreaction from Nickrat, but he can always salvage. So it's okay. He can always salvage the bunker. Not the biggest investment. Is safe back at home. And Demi from here has to drone. He has a lot of droning to do. He has some catching up to do as well. Remember, his third base still in production. And he has to replenish those queens. Zan very goes to PvP now, 100%. Yo, Zan has been beating Hero, like, pretty consistently. Like, Zan, he's been popping off in PvP. I mean, to be fair, he always has been, right? Like, Zan, I feel like he was known as that PvP sniper for a long time. Oh, no, oh. As Demi does lose one of his links to the Rux, but he does knock down the tower. Demi's walling up, getting his 4th. Feels like there's a PSA for you out there. If you knock down these towers, be careful with your units, Papi. Oh my god, be careful. Oh, Demi, he killed the Roomba. Demi, what's going on? Calm down. Leave the Roombas alone. Killing his own lings, sniping the Roombas. Ay ay ay. There we go. Nickrat does move out. Now moving out with his 2-on-1 stim timing. Hunting down Overlords, and it's going to be on Nickrat here to keep the creep in check. To shut down Overlords, to deny the creep spread, threaten the 4th base. We'll see if he can. As Nickrat is being active. Ooh, does catch some of those morphing and Banelings, gets 2. 1 Baneling does connect. Nickrat pulling away. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but there's been a little bit of stuttering here and there. I do apologize. That's just a connection to US Central. Smooch. Do apologize. But the PTR has limited servers available. If you're curious, there's only 2. Only 2 servers on the PTR. It's Central and West. There's no US East. There's no Europe. There's no Korea. There's no Australia. Just West and Central. As Demi is now going to be droning up, he gets away with his 4th base. The creep is a little bit lackluster, but he's going to be able to stabilize, get up to his 4 base saturation. Likewise, Nickrat doing the same, getting his 3rd up and running as well. We're headed into the mid game. Saturating, 1-1 upgrades are on the way. Nickrat building up, getting to his bio. Jesus, how many racks is 8? Oh my god, are we just A-raxing? No gases here at the 3rd, no 4cc yet. Nickrat, he's getting his A-rack set up. We'll keep an eye on any additional factories, any additional gases, to see if Nickrat ever takes a 4th or if he just commits to a 3-base all-in. So far, Demi's keeping up with the drop play. Double drop on the right-hand side. Dusts him in, catches a queen, not bad. Even getting 3 drones. Not the worst trade against the Lings. Shaving off a good chunk of them. Ooh, that's the medevacs do take a lot of hits. Another queen goes down. Oh my, how many queens have died this game? 5! 5 queen kills. Look after your queens. As Nickrat is committed. Again, he is... Oh, never mind. Now he's taking his gases. Extra gases are on the way. This could be for extra factories for 4cc. Nickrat, he's setting up for potentially another expansion. But now rallying across the map. Making 7 Marines at a time. I love the Sonic Storm here in the background. Ah, it's so good. As we do see Demi goes up on the tank. Your tank was unsieged. Nice clean up here. Demi, he will hold. Shuts down the tank. He's holding, he's defending. Losing a drone in the natural. And Demi can now take up to Hive Tech. Now, Demi's been stuck on Lair Tech for a long time. It's been purely Ling Bane, but now he's taking gases. Now he's working towards the Hive, and he should be working towards Ultras. And remember, the Ultra has changed in the new patch or in the PTR. The Ultra can actually push units aside. It's a bit of a give and take. The Ultras are going to be slower, so the Ultras are being slowed down. Now the speed upgrade isn't going to be as effective, but they do have the added benefit of pushing units aside and being able to get on top of the army instead. And it does feel like Demi is headed in that direction. Once we get the Hive, I'm getting ahead of myself. The infestation is done. We're waiting for the Hive to start up. Demi has the gas for it. Show us the Hive, Demi. Show us the Hive. Ah. It is Ultra Love. Now is the time for the Ultras. For now, though, Nickrat pushing out. 3-3s on the horizon. Still no 4th expansion for Nickrat, by the way. Wait, has he still not started it? He has not. Still no 4cc. He's 3-base all in. Earlier when he took his gases, I assumed that he would be throwing down an expansion, but no. It's all or nothing for Nickrat. Takes down a lot of Lings. Demi at the same time going for a massive counterattack. We'll get into the mineral line. Yeah, Nickrat out of position. He's racing back home. And the Ling Bane will bust in. Oh! Yeah, massive connections. SCVs are going down. Hive has now begun. And I mean, Nickrat, he was already all in, and now even more so. Now he won't have the economy to sustain himself as Demi, he hits the 3rd. 30 SCVs going down. Ay, ay, ay. And we're not going to see the Ultras, are we? Hurry up, Hive. Finish up. I wanted to see them. But Demi, he annihilates the mineral line. He does annihilate the economy here for Nickrat down to 40 SCVs. He has mules, true. 3-3s on the horizon. But Nickrat has a lot of momentum here already. And Demi just has to focus on rebuilding his army, on remaxing, and maintaining map control. As remember, Nickrat, he never threw down a 4th CC. Like, he never planned for a longer game. The rocks are now working against Demi. Yeah, he has to knock them down. Ling Rambai gets into the mineral line. Drop moves out. Bailings in position. Nice hold position micro. Demi getting only just a handful of SCVs. Distracting the main army. Hive is done. Adrenals on the way. Where's the Ultra Cavern? Where are the ultras? 3-3 on the way. We have the money for it. Can we get there? Do we need to? I kind of just want to see the new ultra. I'm not gonna lie. That's what I want to see. With this many Marauders, it probably wouldn't be wise to do so, though. Yeah, like, true. That is a lot of Marauders. Lings at the third base once again. It's all or nothing for Nickrat. Now, Nickrat has a larger army. Bear that in mind. Nickrat is completely all in. What he lacks in SCVs, he makes up for an army. And he can still try to win the game with his force. Oh, the tank's going to be going down. Lingbane from behind. And there's nowhere to run. Nickrat, he's trapped. Massive connections. He will still take the fight. Demi has to take it slow. Demi has to back off, rebuild. He will lose an expansion, does lose a mineral line. And Demi has to rebuild as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, Nickrat, I would have said that he would have had to keep pushing. Like, time is working against him. Demi doesn't have a lot of lava to work with. Trying to inject, trying to spend his resources, his lava specifically, trying to rebuild, remax. But Lingbane is not the most lava efficient army. You need a lot of it. And Nickrat, he can still win the game. I mean, I actually favor him here. Yeah, I do favor him. He's pushing in. Demi, he cannot engage. And Nickrat, he's doing it. He's stimming. He's winning, Bobby. Purely Lingbane against this many Marauders. No shot. Fungal does connect. Can Demi hold? The Marauders, they are going to be cleaned up. Lings, they come in for the surround. Demi barely holds on. Whew. He did lose another 13 drones, though. Nickrat surviving mainly with medevacs. That's most of his army supply. More infestors on the way. Nickrat, he does spot the expansion. He's rotating. He's rotating over. I don't see Demi holding onto this expansion. Demi is struggling. He has no economy. He has no bank. Yeah, no bank left for Demi. The 3-base all in, it's working. Who needs a 4th? You don't need it, Pappy. Just 3-base all in. Lings are moving out for a counterattack. Ideally, Demi wants to force Nickrat to turn around. But there are reinforcements. Yeah, plenty of reinforcements. Demi, he's not trading well here. Does get a tank, though. Gets a tank and a handful of Marines. The army turns back around. That was a big loss for Demi, though, bearing in mind that he doesn't really have much Lingbane to work with. And Nickrat, he's coming in for the kill, this time with Liberators. Libs are sieging up. We have some decent Fungals, but not enough Lingbane. And Nickrat, he has done it. GG gets called. Nickrat, he will snowball out of control, and he will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Nickrat will take it again, despite the fact that he was losing worker after worker. Remember, Nickrat had a super maxed army because he was all in. He may have been lacking workers, but he had, what, 150 army supply. He had a massive army, and it was on Demi, especially with Lingbane, to trade more often, to trade constantly, so he can rebuild as quickly as possible and try to maintain and make use of his better economy. Likewise, he never teched up into something like Ultras, he never teched into Vipers. That's typically what you want to go into. Lingbane into Viper with those Blinding Clouds to help deal with that ground-based army. Power Bombs as well. Alas, Demi, he's stuck with just mainly purely Lingbane, and you saw that against that kind of force, it just wasn't too efficient, didn't trade well enough, and Demi didn't have enough time to remax afterwards as well. GG. GG, well played. Nickrat takes the first game, and now we're getting to game number 2. Let's go. Getting ready for game 2. And we'll see how the story ends. Meanwhile, the lower half of the bracket is still progressing. Again, Iba versus Homono, they are mid-series, they are playing, but they did start late, unfortunately. So because of that, my heart goes out to Cristiano. He's had to wait for a long time. Has had to wait for a long time for his match, so do apologize. But we'll get there. here we go. So Lava Starved, yeah, as we mentioned during the cast, we were talking about how Lingbane is very lava inefficient just because you have to expend so much lava to actually remax on Lingbane. So when you're lacking hatcheries or missing injects, that hurts you a lot more. That's where some of these more higher supply units, these more key units like Ultras are more lava efficient. That's where they do help out. Whether it's Ultra, whether it's, you know, Lurker, what have you. But yeah, as we did mention. And now we're getting into that second game. It's going to be on ley lines. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our Indian Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Matcherino Esports. Switching colors? God damn it. Hold on. I got you. There we go. We have Demi. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the blue Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes, leading the series 1-0 Automas. One more game is all he needs to advance on to the grand finals. It is Nicaract. I do apologize for the names that are being listed in the intro. That is just because the application that we use has a hard time really syncing up with the PTR. So that's why when I do this, it shows Rebellion. So just as a heads up, it's just a bit of a bug. So do apologize for that. Here we go. So now we are just going to be saturating our bases. It is going to be Hatch Gas Pool here for Demi. Likewise, Nicaract going for his own Rax Expand. He's just getting to his own Rax Expand. Also, I should emphasize, welcome one and all to Ley Lines. Another one of the newer maps in the map pool. Does have its own interesting quirks as well. Likewise, looking a little bit more fortifiable, defendable on a 4-base setup. It does have some very narrow choke points or narrow ramps coming into the triangular third, coming in towards the 4th base as well, where you do have a high yield gas geyser available, which you can take advantage of. So yeah, we'll see how Nicaract will approach this though. Winding it back, if you recall, last game Nicaract did go for a 3-base all-in. He was very committed with his play. It was a long game, don't get me wrong. Did even lead into 3-3, but Nicaract never took a 4th. Never took another expansion. Stayed on a very low SCV count of around 50. But I also can't imagine that Nicaract's going to embrace that kind of style 2 games in a row. I can't imagine. Reaper pokes in. So now Nicaract, he does scout the 3rd. Diving into the main. Oh, soon to. And back at home, it is going to be a 1-1-1. Ooh, a very aggressive opener here from Nicaract. Interesting. This means he's going to be delaying his 3rd CC. So a heavily delayed 3rd CC in favor of a 1-1-1 Banshee opener. This can also lead into a Hellbat push. Again, bearing in mind that because the 3rd base is so delayed, most likely we're going to be committing a little bit harder here to more Hellions, to more Banshees, to more aggression. So Nicaract is building up. We'll keep our eye out for that armory. Demi trying to keep up back at home. Going to be rotating. So far, so good. Demi not losing much of anything yet. Oh my god, and even further before the third TC, we throw down a second and a third Rax. This might just be a 2-base all-in. Straight up. Jesus. Nickrack being very aggressive here. Still being active with those Hellions. Looking for another way in. Banshees towards the main. And Nickrack, he does threaten a dive. So far, the Lings and Queens are keeping up. Nickrack keeping Demi distracted while the Banshee is getting ready for that dive. Double eBay behind this for Nickrack. Banshee hits the natural. Gets a drone. Nothing major yet. Now, bear this in mind as well that Nickrack didn't lose any Hellions. He poked in, but he didn't lose any Hellions yet. Two more, yeah, 2-base all in. 2 more Raxes on the way. That is the 4th and 5th Rax. So it's 5 Rax, 2-base all in here from Nickrack. Most likely he's going to be hitting with 1-1. He's building up a death ball of a bio army. And the pressure is now, the onus is now on Demi to scout. To realize what's going on, to not over drone and not be too greedy. It's going to be on Demi here. As Banshees are going to be denying creep, making sure that Demi has no vision on the map. 4th base on the way, going for the center 4th. So far, Nickrack's doing a great job here at just denying creep, at keeping Demi contained. Ooh, and can he force a cancel? Oh. Overseer still in production. A lot of shots going off. It's going to be close. And the base, yeah, it is going to be canceled. No, that's a kill! That's a kill, not a cancel. Aye. Not like this. 300 minerals down the drain. Actually, 275, true. Hatchery is a little bit cheaper. Forgot about that. The hatchery is a little bit cheaper, but it does still go down. Meanwhile, Banshees, they do hit the natural. Once again, distracting. And remember, Nickrack is all in. Like, he's still building up. He's still just amassing an army. Getting ready for his push. Yo, Nickrack, can he deny +1? Okay, transfuse just in time. Demi will save. More creep is being cleaned up. Ooh, big heli volleys going off on the Lings. Oh my god. Demi still just trying to keep up here with the initial harassment. And here comes the army. Here comes the all-in. How many Marines do we have? 34 Marines, 2 tanks, 3 medevacs, stim, combat shields, 1-1. A very strong 1-1 timing here from Nickrack. The army is spotted, and do we have enough Ling Pain? It's a decent chunk, don't get me wrong. Oh, but these ramps, these choke points. Can Demi collapse on this army? Hatchery does complete. Ling Pain coming in from behind. Gets it off the Hellions, gets it off the tanks. The tanks are going to go down. And Demi will clean this up. He swallows up the army. He did not over-drone. There are still some Marines left over. Queens are getting picked off, but there should be enough Ling Bane. Yeah, Demi has enough to hold. He will survive. He will defend. And he even saves the hatchery. Oh, but 9 HP. What? One more shot. 9 HP, Poppy. Oh, no. Here comes the follow-up, though. Remember, Nickrack, he's all in. Like, he's not expanding. He's not transitioning. It's all or nothing for Nickrack. And he will eventually get that expansion. At least he should. As he pulls back. More tanks, more liberators. If Demi drones, he's going to be in trouble. He's double expanding. Taking top left and bottom right. Hatchery still barely standing as well. Giving him more larva, which Demi desperately needs. Tanks are setting up. This does look like a brutal position. Demi splitting up his army, getting ready for another flank. Oh, can he get? He should get the hatchery. There we go. Hatchery goes down, and Demi commits. Does commit in. Gets the first tank. But the spread here from Nickrack is too good. He shuts down the banelings. Only Lings left. GG gets caught. Nickrack, he snowballs out of control. And Nickrack will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Nickrat will take it. Demi initially had a good hold, but that was a really brutal fight, fighting off of creep. He spent a lot of banelings on the tanks. I should also mention that in that final fight, a lot of banelings did go off on the tanks, and likewise this time Nickrat was able to freely split and freely spread. Another thing as well to bear in mind is that Demi, when it came to that final fight, I think we were all expecting him to come in from multiple angles, but for the most part, he had most of his army coming in from the one ramp. Unlike previously where he was able to try to surround the army and lock it down, that did not occur in that final fight. He wasn't able to really lock down the army or get any kind of surround. Not at all. And with that, GG. GG, well played. Congratulations! Nickrat will be the first to make it to the finals. Congratulations. And the question becomes, who will join him? Who will join him in those finals? As it looks like we still have a ways to go. Again, I do apologize for the delay when it comes to the first round series. Iba and Homono are still facing off, but they should be at least in game 2, right? Should be. Oh boy. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the back yourselves. We have updates. We do have updates. Fiant takes down Hacker's top 2-1, went all the way to the ace match, but Fiant does take it in the end. Fiant did fall though to Zaun. Zaun was able to pop off, takes down Fiant 2-0. Zaun is now waiting in the semi-finals. He is waiting for the winner of Cristiano, Iba, and Honmono. Again, that first round match is still taking place. Oh, they just got out of game. They just got out of game. Are they done? Do we have a result? Looks like we do have a result. Went all the way to the ace match. It looks like Homono takes down Iba 2-1. Went all the way to game 3. Homono does take the series. And up next we have Homono versus Cristiano. So we have 3 series remaining here. Up next on the channel is going to be Cristiano versus Homono, into Zaun, into Nickrat. Back to back to back here. We have our 3 remaining series. Let us jump in. Here we go. But yeah, we are just setting up. Un momento. We're going to be going on a short break. When we come back, we'll have our next TVP. See you soon. See you soon. And we are back. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the quarterfinals of the Sparkling Tuna Cup PTR edition, number 71. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Leylines, we have the Polish Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing his new team. Congratulations, by the way, to our player for joining a new team, for joining Offside Esports. It is Cristiano. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Hyper 1. It is Hon Mono. The most honorable of monorables. Let's go. Let us go. If you're in the chat, predictions. Predictions now open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Best of luck. Best of luck in the chat. Cyclones are broken. If Homeowner can beat me on PT... Oh, no. It's broken, buddy. Oh, I actually haven't seen the new old Cyclone. For those that are curious, the Cyclone has been reverted to a previous rendition of it. And I actually haven't seen it in play yet. So I'm curious. No, the new old Cyclone. Someone give me a sub. Oh, yeah. Oh, hello, Alex. Hello. ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? As we are going to be settling in. Oh, I should also fix up the player names as well. I got you. There we go. Beautiful. Just fixing up the player names here. As Homeowner, he's forced to throw down the CC off location. Forced to throw it down off center. So just a bit of a delay here for Homeowner as we are settling in. Likewise, Cristiano just going for the gate expand. Or the gate cyber expand. And we can once again embrace ley lines. We were just here. I mean, it was a very short game, and we should be seeing another short one as well in a way. Homeowner, he's known for one thing and one thing only in this matchup, and that is 2-base all-ins. Homeowner, is it really a Homeowner game if he doesn't pull the boys in a TVP matchup? That's the question. I'm also curious if he's enamored by the new Cyclone, or the new old Cyclone. Eva did give us a glimpse of it earlier, and are we willing to? Yep, Cyclone is on the way, and I imagine we're going to be rushing into Hurricane engines. No shot. Oh boy. Okay. Let's go. Please get... Oh yeah, for Homeowner, that's fine. Yeah, we know who it is. We're just fixing up Cristiano's name. But there it is. Second factory's on the way. Homeowner, he's going Mass Cyclone. He's looking to embrace the new passion, embrace the Mass Cyclone. First Cyclone has arrived. So far, nothing really looks out of the norm. It's not uncommon to open up Cyclone in this matchup. It's the additional Cyclones that I'm going to be concerned about. Meanwhile, Robo Opener out of Cristiano playing very safe. Going for the Robo. With this Robo, this will gain access to earlier Immortal production and earlier Colossus if it was Bio. But earlier Immortals will help. Charge a little bit more so. Speaking of, Blink is halfway done. My apologies, it was a Twilight Council opener and then into a follow-up Robo. So again, very safe play here by Cristiano. Now we'll be expanding. Wait. Sorry, I may have missed it in the patch notes. When they said that they reverted the Cyclone, did they actually reintroduce Magfield accelerators? Looking at the icon. Is that what that meant? Oh god. Ay, ay, ay. Well, thank you so much for the gifted sub in the chat. Thank you so much. Shout out to Alex in the chat. Gracias, pap, gracias. Thank you for the gifted sub. We do appreciate the support. We do appreciate all the money that we make here on the channel. It does go towards our tournaments. It does go towards events like this. Events like Sparkling Tuna Cup. Gracias. As the first two Cyclones are hunted down. And yeah, Homeowner, he's embracing Mass Cyclone. Magfield Accelerators is back? No shot! Wait, why did the... Wait. Hold on. What was their rationale for doing this? This is crazy. We finally got rid of Mass Cyclone. And now it's back? Oh, no. What about TVT? Are we going to go back to Cyclone versus Cyclone in TVT? Is that where the game is headed? Again? That was a dark time, by the way. That was earlier this year, if you recall. That was what, at the start of the year? That was a dark time in StarCraft history. Jesus. No shot. I should have played tough, so easy for it to be tight. I mean, yes, Charged Not Immortal shuts down my Cyclone very hard. Like, but my mind is not going to my mind is going to TVT. Ay, ay, ay. God. Not again. Not like this. The reason is to show everyone who asked for the old Cyclone to come back. Who was asking? Who asked? Who asked for the old Cyclone? No shot there was a Terran player. No shot Terrans wanted it. Like, they were the ones complaining the most about TVT. Of course. Meanwhile, nice force fields. 2 Cyclones get called out. Nicely done here by Cristiano. As Homeowner does rotate. They only impacts TVZ. These are even older Cyclones. Oh, okay. These ones, okay. So this isn't the old Cyclone. This is the old Cyclone. Okay. My mistake. I wasn't too certain. I understand. It's the Grandpa Cyclone. I see. You had me scared for a moment, Bobby. You had me concerned. Aye. But yeah, they can't be reactor down. Meanwhile, Cristiano does rotate around, takes some mind shots to the Winter Mines. Oh my god. The blink is punished. No detection. Oh, detection is now coming in. Winter Mine's going to be cleaned up. Cristiano, he can afford to take him to the face. And on Homeowner, what does he have left to defend? He's got 1 Winter Mine. He's got now 2 Winter Mines, 1 Cyclone, a bunker. Oof. It's not going to be enough. Cristiano's going to snowball out of control from here. He breaks the natural. There's 2 Cyclones left. GG gets called, and Cristiano, he will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Didn't even need charge. just sentries and stalkers. Let's go. GG, well played. Cristiano does take the first game. But thank you for clarifying. Thank you. It's not the previous Cyclone, but the one before that. I haven't actually delved into the latest patch notes, so that's why I was unsure. But thank you. The one before the rework. Yeah. All good. Oh, shout out to Nick-Rect. Shout out to Nick-Rect in the chat. But with that, Cristiano will take a lead in the series, and now we're jumping to game number 2. Let's go. Here we go. As we're jumping into Amygdala for the first time tonight. 7 factories of Tech Labs, Mass Cyclone go burr. Oh no. Not like this. And hey, if you're in the chat, calm things down, Papi, calm things down. Respect the players, I know that we have some bans from time to time, but calm down in the chat. As we are getting into our next game, as we're getting into game number 2 and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Amygdala, we have our Polish Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing his new team, Offside Esports. It is Cristiano. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran representing Team Hyper 1. It is Mono. Amygdala map that we have yet to see here tonight is a very interesting map, is what I will say. There's a lot of rocks here that can be broken down to gain access to a shorter rush distance or shorter attack path across the map. Likewise, gold bases are also available as well, which can be gained access to via knocking down those rocks. But before we can embrace the gold, before we can embrace the map, we have a proxy. Do you have a proxy Rax? It's going to be 1 Rax back at home for Mono and a 2nd Rax out across the map. So 2 Rax Reaper here from our Blue Terran player. You know, Cristiano back at home, still in the dark, going for his probe scout, trying to get a read on what exactly is going on. I say that, but alas, the scout is denied. Homeowner, he does wall up, he does wall off. throws down the depot in time, and as a result, Cristiano is going to be a little bit in the blind here, so what's going on? Also, we're going proxy Tech Lab, we are. Tech Lab is on the way. It's going to be Marines back at home and Marauders across the map. Homeowner being that much more committed. And we'll see how Cristiano responds to this. Bearing in mind, of course, Stalkers, they do produce a little bit faster than previously, as Concussion Shell is being researched. Likewise, of course, it's going to be no overcharge available. Shield batteries, they can still be quite useful, but no overcharge. Not the one we expect, at least. A couple of boys are being pulled. Marine is moving out. Back at home, Cristiano has still to pull it or to piece it together, as he does miss the move out. Oh, going for a Twilight Council opener behind this, which is not going to come into play. And Homeowner, he's just massing up his army, getting ready to pull the trigger. We'll soon have 2 Marauders, and he's going for it. He's pushing in with 2 Marauders. And again, we have 1 Adept to defend. Shield battery just now begins, but it should not finish. Yeah, bunkers on the way. Shield battery's going to be denied. Cristiano, he gives up on the natural, pulls away. Can he hold on to his main? Can he hold on to the high ground? Boys are being pulled. They have to be. Shield battery just now being thrown down. Bunkers on the way. 2 bunkers even. So far, Cristiano buying time. He can afford to lose some SCVs. Lose some probes even. Does deny the bunkers. No more SCVs left. Uh-oh. Cristiano is buying time. So far, so good. And does he get this around? He gets 1 Marauder. 1 Marauder goes down. Shield battery does complete. Denies the bunkers. And with that, Cristiano, he holds onto his main. He will lose the natural, though. I'm not so certain that Cristiano can really save this. Let's try to poke out. Building out more Stalkers. From here, we have 1 base versus 1 base. Homeowner now going to be expanding back at home. He's attempting to transition. We'll see what Cristiano can get done, especially once Blink finishes. It only just now started, though. So Cristiano is contained. That's the win condition here for Homeowner. Just contain the Protoss for as long as possible and expand. Oh! You know what, Homeowner, he has to be careful. He cannot push up the ramp. There's a force field. Homeowner does confirm. Meanwhile, Cristiano, he scouts. He also gets eyes on the follow-up, on the CC, the racks, the add-ons. He did not see the factory or additional gases. And with the help of the Overlord Scouts or with the floating racks, Homeowner is going to be able to confirm the gateway setup. It's going to be 3 gates. Blink, of course, as well. He does get eyes on the Twilight Council. Homeowner is aware. We'll see how much damage he does take to the Blink Stalkers as Cristiano breaks out. We'll be expanding. Blink about to finish. Cristiano looking for the proxy. I mean, we'll come across it. Hallucination confirms the position of the main army, so he knows that Homeowner is back at home. Gets eyes on the researching eBay, so he knows it's going to be bio. No crazy mass cyclone this time. Not after this kind of opener. And Cristiano, is he opting to double expand? Okay, I was like, is he going to double expand? Is he crazy? No, not quite, not quite. Just rallying his army out, rallying out units, and his attempt here to delay the expansion. We'll see if he can. Oh, has to be careful. Has to respect the army. Just trying to delay the expansion, working towards charge, into Temple Archives, towards Storm as well. Oh, nice force field. Picks up a handful of Marines. Can he get the Marauders? Oh, he bleeds out one Stalker. He gets one Marauder for a Stalker and a Sentry. He wants the other, though. Oh, he wants it. Oh, does get it in the end. Nice pickup. Gets 2 Marauders. Cristiano pulls away, establishing his natural. Wes back at home, building up his Archon count, his Zealots. And from here, we can calm things down. We can stabilize. Homeowner's on 2 bases, so is Cristiano. We can settle down. After a very intense start to the game, we're calming things down, working towards the mid-game here. Cristiano's still being very active with his Stalkers. Homeowner playing very safe. He's got a turret in the main. He's got a turret here at the natural in case there were DTs or in case there were any stray observers. Cristiano's going for a massive gateway explosion. I mean, Cristiano, he made a choice. Cristiano, he could have expanded, could have taken a 3rd base. Instead, no, that's 5 extra gateways. Ay. That's a lot of gates. That's going to be a lot of charge lots. Now, pushing into this entrenched position is going to be difficult, but I'm sure Cristiano is hoping that Homeowner is going to be the one to move out instead. Which makes sense. I mean, it's Homeowner. Homeowner does often not expand in this matchup. Oof. One Stalker goes down. But again, the likelihood of Homeowner pulling the boys and going for a 2-base all-in is quite high. It's going to be quite high. Homeowner taking up into Ghost. Ghost Academy is on the way. Cristiano just making sure it doesn't get supply blocked, throwing down more pylons, warping in more Zealots. Homeowner moving out with his drop. Cristiano does have units at home to defend. Yeah, with 2 drops even. Cristiano does go for a much later 3rd. But the drop does arrive. The Marine Zealot towards the north. Dropping to the main. Archons will defend. So far so good. Cristiano is holding, but he will not hold on to the 3rd. Oof. Is cancelled. Still waiting for that move out from Homeowner. Catches out a Stalker. Zealots are going to be thrown away. They don't get much done. Oh, they don't get anything done. So nice pickups here from the Terran. Catches out Zealots, catches a couple of Stalkers. Going to be pushing out across the map. Cristiano going for the triangular 3rd instead. And here comes the army. And do we pull the boys with this? That's the question. He's not going for it. Is now moving out. He has EMPs. He's got 3 ghosts so far. And unfortunately, Cristiano, he missed the move out. He completely did miss it. Homeowner pushing in, has almost doubled the army supply. Now is spotted. Cristiano, can he dive on this army? Oh! Nice split. Avoids the mine. EMP connects with 2 of those Archons. Those crazy Archons, I should say. Another EMP gets spent. There's 1 EMP left. Does connect. Once again on 2 Archons. Cristiano has to pull back. First Archon goes down. And can he get on top of the army? Looks like he will. Gets on top of the tanks. Tanks, looks like they will go down. No, they will not. Not enough Zealots. Not enough Zealots. And Homeowner, he has done it. He's breaking through. The EMPs were good enough. They're kiting as well. Waiting for reinforcements. Cristiano, he's up against the wall. Waiting for more warp-ins. Can he try to catch out the army? But the tanks are very far out of range. But Homeowner gets into the mineral line, picks up a couple of probes. Oh, the tanks are left undefended. Nice moves here by Cristiano. Gets all 3 tanks. Not bad. Does pick up the tanks. But pushing into the Spire is not going to be possible, not with this small of an army. He needs more Zealots, but he's trying. Another EP connects. And GG gets called a shot too much, and Homeowner ties up the series. We are going to the ace match. Ooh, GG. Homemono does overwhelm. Again, unfortunately, Cristiano, he missed the move out. He did not see Homemono's army pushing towards the north side. Didn't spot him moving out. He wasn't able to slow it down either. Here we go. We are getting into the final game, the final map. Where are we dropping? We have yet to spawn in on Snowpiercer, right? I don't think we've had a game there. Still no Snowpiercer. We have yet to cast a game on El Dorado either. No El Dorado. Here we go. The ace match is going to be on Whispers of Gold. Here we go. No gold base on Whispers of Gold. Just saying. What's going on? Here we go. We are getting into the ace match. It all ends here. It all ends on Whispers of Gold, and spawning in the top or in the bottom right-hand corner, we have our red Polish Protoss player representing Offside Esports. It is Cristiano. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the blue Terran player representing Team Hyper 1, tying up the series and forcing the ace match. Can you go the distance? It is Homemono. Go. As Homemono is going to be opening up still. Oh my god, it's going to be like, is he going CC first? No, he's going for a hidden Rags here on the low ground. Going for a standard opener, just trying to fake out a proxy. After what happened in the last game, makes sense to try to get into the head of Cristiano and ideally force an overreaction. Ideally. Cristiano going for his probe scouts. It is not uncommon for a Protoss player to go in with the probe scout to check further back in the main and then to check the natural as well to look for that Rax. I'm sure Cristiano is willing to do the same. As he does confirm the Rax is missing, sends out a second probe. He's looking for the proxy. He's looking for the proxy that does not exist. The Zealot is on the way as well. And this is what Homemono was hoping for. Because of this, 2 workers instead of 1 aren't mining, and he's forcing Cristiano to make a Zealot that he doesn't need. Up! He will scout, though he does check the natural and does get eyes on the Rax. Zealot is cancelled just in time. Wait, what? Homemono going for a reactor first, skipping the Marine, skipping the Reaper. Sorry, not skipping the Marine, but skipping the Reaper, and is going for his CC at the 3rd location instead of the natural. Okay. So, Rax expand here out of Homemono, going for the unnatural natural. Hoping to try to, once again, try to catch Cristiano off guard. Back at home, Cristiano opening up Robo. Very safe response here by our Protoss player. Again, with help with a Robo opener, you can go into faster Immortal production, can go into faster Colossus production as well with a faster Bay. Cristiano has options, but again, usually very safe play here. He can also try to be aggressive himself by going for a War Prism and a Adept Harass. We'll see what it's going to be. As Cristiano moves out. We'll check the natural. And does confirm that the CC is missing, does get eyes on the factory as well. Which means the natural base is left untouched for the time being. Aye, aye, aye. Cristiano going for his own War Prism. Again, to harass across the map. Get into the main. So just trying to get a read on what's going on. Still confirming there is no expansion. But there is. He doesn't know, man. What I do appreciate, though, is that because he's going for the War Prism, he will be able to harass at least and pick off some workers and try and get some scouting information. Cristiano has potential for damage, considering how little there is to defend in the main. There's a handful of Marines. And they are vanilla Marines. So Cristiano, he dives in, going for the SCVs. Again, there's no Cyclone to defend. No Hellions. Marines, they waddle in. But the Prism should be safe. Oh, and how many probe kills? Sorry, how many SCV kills? 7 SCV, 8 SCVs! 9! 9 SCV kills for nothing! Not a single Adept goes down. War Prism escapes, full HP. And a strong start for Cristiano, getting 9 SCVs. And if he was aware, he could rotate, and he can also go for the mineral line here at the natural. He's checking. He is up. He's checking. I don't think he's checking here intentionally, but he does stumble upon the expansion. He's like, hold up. It's like, what's going on here, Pappy? Aye. It takes down 2 extra SCVs, 11 in total. And Homono is moving out across the map. He doesn't care. He is committed. He's floating a CC over. Boosting into the main. Going for the Immortals. Sentry goes down. Gets the force field. More sentries coming in to support. Can we save the Immortals? Can they be saved? Force fields get thrown down, but the Marines, they stim in. They take down 1 Immortal. They go for the other as well. Extensive losses for Cristiano, but he comes in for a surround. Adepts, they race back home. Saves an Immortal just barely. And Cristiano holds. He holds, and now it's time to counterattack. And, Homono, what do we have at home to defend? We have a bunker. We have 1 tank. Well, that's what the Immortals are for. They're here for the tank. As Homono boosts back. And the Stim Marines are putting in quite a bit of work here. When that's juggling by Cristiano, he saves the Prism just barely. It pulls away in time, takes down the tank. There's 1 tank left behind this. Cristiano, can he break through? We're bringing more Zealots. Twilight Council's on the way. 3rd base as well. Cristiano, he's not all in. He's happy to contain. He's containing his opponent. Dropping into the main. Oh! For the main, Nickrak diving on... Sorry, I said Nickrak. Homono diving with the Prism. Prism escapes! Gets away! Let's go. War Prism does barely get away. And the question becomes, where are we headed from here, Homeowner? Like, it's been such a chaotic start to the game. So much delayed mining. He's only got 28 SCVs. There we go. He pulls the boys. This is the Homeowner that we know and love. Pull the boys, Bobby. Send it. Let's go. It's all or nothing at this point. 2 tanks, SCVs. Stim is completed alongside Combat Shield, so the Marines themselves are quite hefty. They have a lot of DPS potential. Stalkers, they just force you all in even further. Catching a couple more SCV kills. Forcing a recall, but can Cristiano hold on? Can he survive this? The army is spotted! And Homono, he commits. Tanks, they siege up. Cristiano doesn't have charge. Oh, there's just so many Stim Marines. He's going for the Immortals. Nice juggling. Cristiano saves 1. Shield battery just now on the way. Again, Cristiano, he was not ready for this. He's getting caught with his pants down. The shield batteries are late, and without them, I'm not sure he can hold. He's going for the tanks. Doesn't get them. Nice zoning. Prism goes down. Immortals go down. And it looks like Homono, does he have enough? There's 1 tank left. And it is enough. Homono, he breaks the 3rd. Takes down the final Stalkers. Gets into the mineral line. And the Terran player has done it, has broken through. Probes are falling left and right. There's barely an army left. Charge now finishes up, but it's too late. It's too late at this point. As the Nexus is going to go down. Again, just a very chaotic game here by Homeowner. More Zealots are trickling in. But there's just too many Marines. Too many Marines. GG, and Homeowner will take the series 2-1. GG, well played again. Just a very chaotic game out of Homono. Cristiano, he did not see the move out. He was not aware. That's why there were no shield batteries ready. Even if it was the old shield battery with the old overcharge, there just wasn't anything prepared for that. And yeah, Cristiano letting us know as well that he wasn't aware of the opener either. He thought it was Proxy Marauder. Yeah, it was just very, very chaotic start there. And GG, Homono does take it in the end. Does advance on to the next round. Does advance on. Here we go. And we are setting up for our next series. It's going to be a series between Homono and Zaun. Not classic. In-game, Zaun is called classic, not confusing at all. But let's go. Here we go. As we are going to be setting up here for the semifinals. Until then, though, we're going to be going on a short break. And we'll be back with our semis. See you soon. See you soon. and welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the semi-finals of Sparkling Tuna Cup number 71, the PTR edition. We have a fresh best of 3 for you, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Snowpiercer, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss. In-game, he might be called Classic, but not quite. It is Zaun. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran, the blue Terran, representing Hyper 1. It is Hon Mono. Do need a moment here to set up the predictions in the chat so you can get your gamba going and place your bets on who you think will take the series. Do need a moment to set that up. Likewise, I will also adjust the in-game UI. Not confusing at all, Zaun for naming himself after his favorite player. At least he has the in-game clan down, so that does help things a little bit. But shaking my head. Here we go. I got you. There we go. Does that mean, does Azura have to be the #1 Classic fan? Is that what? Is that how that goes? As we do see, Homeowner going to be opening up 2 racks. Meanwhile, the probes got into the main base, does confirm. And also, welcome one and all to for the first time tonight, Snowpiercer. Snowpiercer is one of the larger maps in the map pool. Likewise, a lot more wide open in the center of the map as well. A little more macro-oriented, and with the scouts, Homeowner, he cancels the second racks. Ooh, so his initial opener is going to be disrupted, and he's going to try and play out some mind games here and try to fake out Zaun. But there we go. If you're in the chat's predictions open, is second time. I think the game 1 of the night was on Snowpiercer, but that didn't count. Like, who remembers game 1? Aye. But predictions open, place your bets on who you think will take the series. Coming into this, I still have a really hard time placing Zaun when it comes to his skill level. I do think that Zaun has some killer PvP. Like, his PvP is by far his best matchup, and he has comparable PvP with some of the other Korean Protoss players out there, like Hero, like Trap, like Nightmare and Classic. I do think that Zaun is quite comparable in that matchup, at least. When it comes to the other matchups, I'm a little bit less convinced. I'm less convinced currently, so we'll see. We'll see if Zaun can excel where some other Protosses have struggled here against Homeowner. But now Homeowner is going for a more delayed CC in the main. Remember, we had the initial 2 racks opener that was disrupted. Homeowner going to be transitioning or deviating away into his 2-base setup. Demi versus Rebellion played it? Yeah. That's what I mentioned. Game 1. Was it game 1 of the broadcast? But here we go. The Adept does get behind the mineral line. Oh! Gets a full scouts. Fun fact, the Adept does confirm the Rax is missing. So he confirms that it was a fault that we did attempt to transition. Homeowner getting into his 1-1-1. With the CC. As one SCV goes down. Nice pick off. Zaun gets the initial SCV. Behind this, going for his own Robo opener. Very safe play here from our Korean Protoss player, with this opening up Prism to move out across the map to harass in the mineral line. I mean, we saw how effective Cristiano was with his Adept harass, and we'll see what Zaun gets done as he moves out with a Stalker initially. Moves out with a Stalker. Likewise, Homeowner building up. His 3-1-1 setup as well. But now just focusing on his marine production. He's got his 1 Cyclone as well, moving out with his own drop. As he moves out, Zaun moves in. Ooh, and the warp in is out of range. Going for an extra Stalker. Dipping into the mineral line, delaying some of the production. Gets 1, gets a second SCV. Not bad. Oh! Getting a 3rd, getting a 4th SCV. Very nice. Gets 4 CV kills. Zaun backs off at the same time, drop into the main. And does Zaun have anything in position? The Immortal is still a ways off. And the pylon's going to go down. The Immortal does pop in. Oh! Just in time. We'll be able to defend. Second Immortal comes in as well. And Zaun shouldn't lose too much more. I mean, his production is going to be delayed, but he does defend. Same time harassing the natural. Threatens a shade. Attempting to pull Homeowner apart. So far unable to. Homeowner, he spots the prism. He wants it. Doesn't quite get it. Homeowner pulls back. Let's pull back home. Meanwhile, I mean, it was a river opener with that, going into a bay, going into Colossus production. It's now just building up. Getting into his own two-base Colossus play. Still yet to expand and take a third, just now doing so. Bit of a delayed third in favor of faster Colossus production. So again, just really safe play from Zaun. Not taking too many risks. And really, we're just waiting for Homeowner's move outs. I mean, sure, like, Zaun, he's building up, expanding, getting a third base, getting more Colossus. Homeowner, we're waiting for him to pull the boys. That's what I'm waiting for. He's got his 3-1-1 setup. Does Homeowner commit to a two-base all-in, or does he expand? That's always the question for Homeowner in the TVP matchup. He's got a couple of Vikings on the way, building up energy on the Raven. No disable on the Raven, bear that in mind, just for detection, just auto turrets and anti-arm missile. Still building up. Meanwhile, Zaun is teching, getting into his Forge for upgrades, getting into his Temple Archives for Storm and Archons. And here comes the move out. Homeowner fanning out a couple of units here looking for the War Prism. Observer, ooh, does spot the move out as well. And here come the boys, because of course they come. It's Homeowner. He has to pull the boys at least once in a series. Is going for the two-base all-in as he moves out. Drop moves in. Not as many SCVs to kill, but he does pick up a couple of workers. A couple of SCVs are going down. Back at home, Zaun, he's got one shield battery ready. He's got one shield battery. He's got a couple of force fields. Does have the energy overcharge. Gets a feedback. Gets a feedback on one medevac. Homeowner pushing in. This third base is quite wide open, busting to the mineral line. Probes are falling. Only getting a couple of probes so far, but he does bring down the base. Nexus falls, and so will the shield batteries. And Zaun, he's up against the wall. Shield batteries are soon to be depowered, and Zaun, he has to back off. He backs off to the natural. At the same time, 21 SCVs have fallen. Every worker here at the natural. Homeowner, he was already all in. Now even more all in. He may have brought down the third, but now he needs a natural. Still not enough. Zaun gets one tank, gets a second. Oof, Colossus falls. Yeah, the Vikings, they go ham. They're going for the other Colossus. They barely don't get it. That final Colossus survives. Tanks edging closer towards the natural. Zaun buying time for extra warp-ins. That final Colossus so close to going down. A couple more volleys. Oh! Doesn't get them. The juggling at his out. Saves a Colossus. Does save it. He's collapsing in. And charge kicks in. Gets on top of the tanks. Colossus goes down. But the tanks are exposed. It looks like Zaun, he does have enough. He breaks through the tank line. Gets on top of the army. And he holds. Barely does hold on. Again, very patient play by Zaun as well. Using the third base just to buy time. He did not commit to a fight. Pulled back to his natural, waited for extra warp-ins, topped up his army with a shield battery, and defend. And he does defend. So again, just really patient play from Zaun. And with that, what does Homeowner have left? He's down to 26 SCVs. Mules are good, but they're not that good. They're not that good, Pappy. Aye, aye, aye. Zaun pushing in, getting some of the Vikings. Boys are being pulled to defend. Zaun waiting for reinforcements. Taking his third, taking up into disruptors, and Zaun backs off. I was curious if he had to preserve that War Prism, but the War Prism did go down. Without reinforcements, Zaun, he cannot break the natural, so he will retreat. Does retreat, double expanding, getting a third and a fourth base at the same time. And right now the pressure is on Homono. If he doesn't make something happen here, if he doesn't get into mineral lines, if he doesn't kill any probes, if he doesn't deny bases, then he will be left behind. Zaun will snowball out of control with the greater economy if the game goes that long. That's a big if, though. Homono stimming in, gets eyes on the fourth. And can he force a cancel? Looks like he can. Not bad. Cancels the fourth expansion. Gets a pylon. Drags the army over. Remember, though, Zaun, he's already got a third on the way. Double expand. Dropping into the main. Getting a stalker. Sniping a couple of pylons. Forcing a recall. Yeah, not bad. Doesn't lose much of anything. So this is good value for Honmono. And back at home, we should be getting ready for a second all-in. I mean, again, Honmono, if you haven't watched him before, if the first all-in fails, try again. And keep pulling the boys. I mean, we've seen Honmono win games where his all-ins fail, but then the third time he pulls the boys, he breaks the Protoss. Like, it's happened before. It's crazy. Give Honmono a mineral line and he'll make some magic happen. Meanwhile, snipes a couple of stalkers, but not the best trade here from Honmono. At the same time, dropping on the right-hand side, but the main army's in position. He has down. He defends. Does save his third. Doesn't lose much of anything. Bled out a couple of stalkers earlier. My biggest concern would be if Zaun was a little bit too greedy and teched up too hard. Honmono does break out. The Medivacs! Oh! Oh my god. Did you barely get out? Honmono doesn't lose anything yet. Pulls back home to repair. Meanwhile, the main army of Zaun is being refined. He's got 3 Immortals, building up his Disruptor count as well. Dark Shrine is on the way. I do like the DTs in this position just because scans are quite limited. Like, Honmono, he is muling his heart out. He's only got 2 orbitals, so scans are more of a luxury for him. And there we go. The boys are being pulled. The Observer does spot the move out. Zaun knows. Zaun is getting in position, and here come those Disruptors. He's getting the Novas ready. Speaking of, first Nova goes up. Up! No major connections yet. Grazing the army. Takes down 2 SCVs. No big connections. There's 1 Nova left. Oh, the splits are good. Does avoid the shot for the most part. Does lose some Marines. Honmono pushing in. Good EMP. But there still just might be too much on the ground. Yeah, the supply doesn't lie. Not in this position. As Zaun he overwhelms, GG gets called, and Zaun will take game number 1. GG. Does take the first game. Again, the scariest moment was the initial all-in, but remember, Zaun, he was already wreaking havoc across the map, killing SCVs with the Adept Harass. Likewise, he spotted the move out, he was getting ready back at home, and again, Zaun, he was so quick to just give up on the third. Just give up on the third base, just let it go down, just used it to buy time, wait for extra warp ins, wait for reinforcements, and have a better fight at the natural instead. And with that, Zaun takes a lead, and now we're jumping into game number 2. Let's go. Let us go. All in? Yeah, he's all in. It's all or nothing. See someone asking, did Zaun come back to the military recently? Yes, he came back, we say recently, like 2 months ago at this point. I think it's been around 2 months, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but around that time. Since he has been back, he has been progressing, he has been improving in that time, of course, and we'll see how he does settle. For now, though, we're getting into game 2 and spawning in the top right-hand corner of ley lines. We have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing himself, currently teamless, back from the military. It is Zaun. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Hyper 1. Down in the series, we'll see if we can force the ace match. It is Hon Mono. Here we go. The SCV's mission was to fight all along. They're battle SCVs. In the hands of Hon Mono, they are. That is their purpose. That is their mission. That is their goal. And again, he's known for being hyper-aggressive, specifically in this matchup. You know, I don't want to say that that's the case in every matchup. He does more often macro against Terran players and Zerg players. Oh my god. As the workers do survive. But specifically against Protoss, Hon Mono often does all in. We don't often see macro games out of him. Every now and then, it's quite rare, but we do see him, you know, get a third and actually make more than 40 SCVs. It's crazy. Does do it, you know, from time to time, but again, it's more of the exception than the norm. As Zani dips in, he was denied the scout, he was fully walled up, and Hon Mono is going to be opening up with a single gas geyser. Rax Expand, economic opener here out of Hon Mono. So far, so good. You can see that Zan is scouting, is looking for the proxy. Again, Hon Mono has a reputation, and upon seeing nothing across the map, Zan is paranoid. He's paranoid, he's looking for, you know, something like a proxy Marauder, proxy Reaper, proxy Factory. Zan just being as safe as possible. But did not make the initial Zealot. Gonna go Stalker first. Safety shield over here on the low ground. We'll see what Hon Mono is going to get up to, as he does throw down an extra Rax, throws down a Factory, and he might just go for a third Rax before Starport. If he does, it's going to be a 2-base all-in. Just because you do heavily delay your Starport, and you go for a delayed medevac production in favor of faster stim, faster combat shields, faster or more heavy bio production first, into delayed medevacs. Which would typically lead into an all-in, where you pull the boys. Hallucination moving out across the map. We'll get eyes on the production setup here of the initial 2-1. Okay, never mind. I assumed it was going to be a third Rax, but no, it's going to be a Starport. It's going to be a 2-on-1. Interesting. This is an opener. This is a build that you very rarely see in this matchup, and the Hallucination sees everything. Zan, he's fully aware of the bio commitment of the sim timing. Now, we should be seeing a reactor and an addle swap. Yep, there we go. Reactor's on the way into an addle swap, into double medevac production. And Hon Mono is going to be going for a stim timing. And this has potential for damage. The downside, of course, is that you're going to be lacking any kind of factory support. Delayed tank production, no Cyclones, no Widow Mines. No early Raven. Just pure Marine. It's purely man with gun. And back at home, Zan playing it safe. Just chilling out, going for the Robo first. Safety Immortal. Into his own blink. Observer's getting in position to scout the move out. And Hon Mono should soon be moving out with the arrival of the medevacs. They're halfway done. Halfway done at this point. Observer sees everything. Zan is aware. Hon Mono moves out. The Observer does at least confirm that the Marines are missing, so we can piece 2 and 2 together. Yep, only 1 Marine left. So the drop should be somewhere. And you can see Zan getting in position. There we go. He's ready in the main. There's 4 Stalkers in the main, the rest of the army here at the natural. Zan doesn't exactly know where the drop is going to hit, but is getting ready. He is getting ready nonetheless. As the medevacs are revealed. The 1 pylon is going to get picked up. Not bad. Gets a pylon. The army comes in from behind. Nice force field. And Homeowner, he's forced back, bleeding out. So many Marines there. That was how many Marines going down? 10! 10 Marines for one pylon. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, not worth it for Homeowner. Classic now taking a third. And the question becomes, ooh, as Homeowner will find the Observer and barely, does snipe it. But the question becomes, does Homeowner pull the boys? Do I even have to ask that question? Of course he will, right? Yeah, let's go. It's Homeowner, pop. It's all he does. Let's go. The boys are being pulled. And it's all or nothing for Homeowner. Now, again, Zan is in the dark, but he scouts. Hallucination does confirm the move out. He does see the SCVs as well. He knows. He's getting ready. Storm is finishing up in 5 seconds. It's close. It will finish up in time, just barely. But he needs a couple more seconds. There we go. He's going to have 3 storms. And he has to make them count. Oh! Doesn't want to waste them. Homeowner with a pre-spread. Prism coming in. Ready for their storms. Oh! First storm does graze a good portion of the Marines. Not bad. Second storm as well. There's 2 storms left. Oh! The energy overcharge! Let's go! The power behind it! Instant storms! That was so cool. Let's go. The energy overcharge coming to play. Massive storms do connect. And now he has even more storms than he would otherwise have. With an instant full energy High Templar. Up! Oh my god. Almost gets sniped. He has to be careful. Another storm does zone. 15 SCVs go down. He has one more storm in the chamber. But the tanks, they're gaining ground. They're pushing into the natural. Third base is going to fall. The third base, remember, it doesn't matter. Third base does not matter. It's about the natural. Bunkers are almost done. Zelda coming from the flank. Ooh, High Templar does get picked up. No storm. There's no storm left. Honmono, does he break through? 1, 2 tanks fall. There's 1 tank left. Zowny pulls back. Does energy overcharge the shield battery. He's barely holding on. It looks like he will. Gets on top of the tank, shuts it down as well. Zan holds. That was cool. We saw the energy overcharge on the High Templar. We saw it on the shield battery as well. Because of that, he had extra storms, or more storms than normal. And he shuts down the all-in. And remember, it wasn't all-in. I mean, I say that Homeowner, he's able to replenish some of his SCVs. Throws down the Ghost Academy. I mentioned before that Homeowner, even if he doesn't get you with the first boy pool, he's going to be getting ready for a second boy pool as well. But it's going to be that much weaker. I mean, he's down to 1 tank. He's crazy. He's expanding. Third CC's on the way. Hon Macro, is that you? We almost never see you. Is going to attempt to macro out of this. But remember, Zaun, he saved the third. That's the problem. Zaun, he saved the third base. He's up 20 workers. Zaun is miles ahead. So even though Homeowner, he isn't necessarily dead, but he's limping along a little bit here. He's struggling. There's a lot of pressure on Homeowner to get some counter damage. Things are looking bleak for the Terran. As here comes the counter attack, and as Zaun moves out, as Zaun moves in, Homeowner moves out. Like, the Marines are not at home to defend. The tanks are exposed. The Observer does confirm this. And there's nothing at home. There's nothing at home to defend. Zealous charge on 4. They take down both tanks. And everything else as well. And remember, Zaun, he can always recall. He can always recall back home if he needs to. The Doom Drop comes in. There's the recall. Oh my god, Prism does fall. Not a bad pickoff, but again, because of the recall, Zaun is safe. Zaun is perfectly safe back at home. GG, good luck gets called, and Zaun will take the series at 2-0. GG. GG. Congratulations, Zaun will take it again, able to showcase the power of the energy overcharge, but bearing in mind as well that it is also very specific to the build that Zaun was going for. If Zaun did not have his High Templar out in time for that push, if he didn't have them ready with those storms, and for the overcharge I should emphasize, then would have been a very different kind of hold for Zaun. But GG. GG, well played. Congratulations. And again, I do appreciate that clearly Zaun, I mean, this is not his first PTR tournament. Xian has been very active in the PTR events, whether it comes to the Pigosaur Cup or the KSRC. So he has been active when it comes to practicing and getting testing done on the PTR. Very nicely done. Very nice performance, GG. GG well played. Xian will advance on to the grand finals, and the question becomes, who will be our champion this week? It's going to be a PVT between Xian and Nicaract. Let's go. Let us go. As we do need a moment here. We need a moment to set things up. Again, it is going to be that best of 5 grand finals, and before we dive into the finals, we have the random raffle. Let's go. You might be curious, random raffle, what are you on about? What are you... There's a rifa? Sí, papi, sí. There is a raffle here. For those that are curious, specifically for our tournaments, we do have a random participation raffle. It's 5 USD. Not a lot, but 5 USD is given to a random player that competed here tonight. But as a reminder about this player, they have to have played out their series. So we had a couple of walkovers, if you recall. There were a couple of walkovers in today's broadcast because some players weren't able to download the PTR in time. They weren't ready for the tournament. Because of that, Wayne, Nightmare, and Mirweb? Well, let me just double check. Wayne, Nightmare, and Mirwen, that's it, Mirwen, are not eligible for the random raffle, but everyone else is. Everyone else is eligible. As we do randomize and we do get things ready. And who's it gonna be? Oh boy. Bam. Here we go. So 10 players. 10 eligible players here for the random raffle. It can go to anyone. Can go to a finalist. Can go to someone that got knocked out in the first round. Cannot go to a player that did not actually play. So again, there is that little prerequisite that you have to be able to get through. And this week, our random raffle champion... I still need like a little drum set. I need a... But this week, congratulations, our random raffle champion winner is going to be, oh, the one, the only, the Demi. Congratulations, the Shark of the Sea, Demi, the Indian Zerg player who we did feature earlier, is going to walk away 5 USD richer. Shout out to the runner-ups. I do see Cristiano, Fian, Tomono, Xian, and Nicaract also there as well. But last, Demi does walk away with that 5 USD. Congratulations. Congratulations here. And now we can jump into the grand finals. It's going to be a best of 5 TVP. Videos are done. And we're jumping into game 1 on Amygdala. Let's go. We are jumping into that first game. As we jump in, a big shout out to Holy Lime 23 in the chat. Gah, papi gah. Thank you so much for subscribing for 21 months. Almost 2 years. Almost 2 years of support. Thank you so much for the support as well. We do appreciate it. All the money we make here on the channel on Twitch does go towards our tournaments. Likewise, if you want to help support this tournament series, if you want to help grow it, Patreon. Patreon is the place to be. Exclamation mark Patreon in the chat, as we saw someone do as well, as we just saw the command linked. Our Patreon is set up to fund all 3 of our tournaments. Masters 1 Open, Sea Duckling Open, and Sparkling Tuna Cup as well. Currently, we do earn just under 300 USD a month. All the money that we make goes towards our tournament, of course, and we do have some stretch goals to help grow the tournament and to help boost the prize pool, to pay out top 4, and to just help improve the event altogether. If you want to take part, if you want to help grow this tournament, the Sparkling Tuna Cup, you can do so via Patreon. Otherwise, let's jump in. Let's get into the finals. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Amygdala, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss representing himself, the returning ex-military player. It is Xian. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Blue Terran player. For the Platinum Heroes, it is Nicaract. I know the intro says the wrong name. It's because of the PTR. I know. So the intros are a little bit scuffed, but we still have the trumpets. That's what matters. We still have the fanfare. Shout out to Nickrat, by the way. He has been patiently waiting for a very, very long time. He was ready in the finals while we were still in the quarterfinals. So Nickrat, he had time to get some food, get some snacks, get some water. You know, he was able to, you know, cook some dinner and yeah, just live his life. Oh no, not like this, not like this. He had some kids. He retired. And now we're here in the finals. Now we're ready. We are jumping in. But now, Rax Expand, economic opener out of our blue Terran player, is going to be that economic start. Meanwhile, Zan across the map going for his own standard opener as well. Nothing too crazy so far. And welcome everyone, welcome to Amygdala. It is a very unique map in the map pool. A lot of rocks. There's a lot of rocks here surrounding the center area of the map. If they get knocked down, the rush distance by ground becomes very short. Likewise, you can also gain access to the gold minerals to harass. As there are gold bases in the center of the map, there's one on each side, but they are blocked off by rocks as well. So the rocks have to be knocked down if you want to take advantage of that gold. Reaver moves out across the map, does not get surrounded. So far, so good. Does dance with the probes. We'll chip away at the mineral line. Likewise, Probe Scout across the map gets cleaned up. Ooh, and Nickrat, he's going to be going for a very economic opener. He's going for a third CC before Rax. Before anything. So Rax expanded to third CC. The Stalker does scout. The Stalker does not get eyes on the main. So Zan is in the dark as to how greedy Nickrat is being. This should be 3 CC, 3 Rax. This is a very popular build with Beyond specifically. I say Beyond. A lot of the Korean Terran players do like to mix this in, but I feel like Beyond does this more often than not, especially on larger maps like Side Delta, for example, Alkyone, some of these larger, more macro-oriented maps, Golden Aura as well. These are all maps on the current map pool, I should emphasize. So we'll see if Nickrat can get away with this on Amygdala, as there is that second and third Rax follow-up. Now, the power of this build and the power of the 3 Rax lies in actually taking the third base. So because this Nickrat, he can saturate his natural and saturate his third base very quickly. Once his third base gets fully saturated, the Terran player can take a supply lead. They usually do take a supply lead. Momentum goes heavily in favor of the Terran, and they snowball out of control with map control, with their bioaggression, and they can overwhelm a Protoss. It's going to be on Zaun to scout this and to punish this. It's going to be on the Protoss here to punish this and try and delay the third, try and get some economic damage, and get ready for what's to come. Until then, it's going to be a passive game for Nickrat. Again, there's no Reapers, no Hellions, no Cyclones, no drop play because the starport is heavily delayed. So just really defensive play early on to get away with the greed. Because of this, the Protoss can be greedy himself. Zaun getting into his third. We do have that Robo follow-up. Just now taking his gases as well. And this means that the early game here is going to be quite passive between our players. Hallucination Scout will confirm the third CC. Now Zaun is aware of just how greedy the Terran has been. And we'll see how he responds. He's moving out. So Blink is almost done. And again, the pressure is on Zaun to pick away at some units, get some SCV kills, get some Marine kills, delay the expansion, do whatever he can with these Stalkers while he's greedy as well. As you can see, Zaun is skipping warp-ins, he's going for the Bay. Extra production here, extra gateways. Scan reveals that the splash damage of choice is going to be Colossus, not Storm. And Zaun will dive into the main, blinks in. Does blink into the main, will delay the factory, which delays the starport. Going for the Marauders, we'll get one. One Marauder goes down. Zaun doesn't lose a single unit, not yet. Takes some hull damage, but nice pickups here by Zaun. Meanwhile, a shout out to an anonymous. Oh my god. Thank you. Papi God. Thank you so much for the $16 tip. Gracias, Papi. Gracias. Thank you for the donation. Again, all the money that we make here goes towards our tournament, so thank you. Thank you. Do appreciate it. Love the passion, Twitch unity. Thank you, Papi. Thank you. We're all about the passion here, Papi. We do our best. We do our best. As Nickrat will take the third. Again, is in the middle of getting saturated. I mean, there was some nice pickups with these Stalkers initially, that is true, but, I mean, it was just, what? An SCV here and there, a Marauder here and there, nothing too major. Nickrat will establish his third. Nickrat has gained map control. We spoke about this, and Nickrat will be able to strip that away from Zaun. Force him back. Colossus production has begun. Nickrat, he's building up his bio army. He has yet to really hit his final form. He's getting there, though. Nickrat is getting there Building up more Marines, more Marauders, Medivacs. Getting to his upgrades. And we'll see if Zan is able to keep up with the Terran. Going for the gold. Love to see it. Knocking down those rocks. Headed towards the gold base. Building up more Colossus. Now, I was really curious if Zan was going to go for a Templar Archives or a second Robo. We have confirmation, second Robo. So he's going double Robo Colossus into Disruptor production, bearing in mind as well that the Disruptor is significantly weaker in TVP nowadays, just because it no longer one-shots Marauders. That means that a player like Nicorette, who's playing very bio-heavy, who's very aggressive as well, has the potential to dive on Disruptors, to tank a Disruptor shot as well, he can afford it, and to still break through. So that is something to bear in mind. That is one of the big things that we are keeping in mind in the new PTR, is whether or not the Disruptor change is too much in this matchup. Just because now Purification Novas are going to be a lot more unforgiving as well. So we'll see if Nicorette can break through. For now, he's going for a split push. He is spotted by the Xel'Naga. Colossus in position. So far, Zan doing a great job here at splitting up his army and keeping up. Basically, a big adjustment that will most likely be made in this matchup is it takes 2 Novas to kill Marauders, basically. So we might be seeing maybe 2 shots going out at a time instead, or just more careful play from the Protoss player in general, being aware that there's a little bit less potency behind the Nova. So I'm sure things will adjust and things will change. But now But now Zan, he has his goal base up and running, going for another expansion, and I'm a little bit surprised here that Nicorette, he's actually not moving out with his army. He's chilling back at home, throwing down sensor towers, getting to a 4th expansion. Does spot the Observer. But yeah, Nicorette, he's taking a more passive approach. I mean, again, Nicorette, he has a supply lead, but for the time being, he's not fully making use of it. And this is allowing Zan to get away with the gold. The gold base is helping him recover and helping him keep up. And it means that that lead that Nicorette once had, it's not as large as it otherwise could have been, thanks to the gold as well. So Zan has a boosted economy. He's gotten up to 4 Disruptors. Nicorette will be the first to max out, but again, Zan is not too far behind. And the armies are about to clash. Zan getting behind the mineral line. He's going to be denying the gold. He denies gold mining. He's getting away with his own. Nicorette trying to break in, but here come those Novas. And Novas going up. They graze the army. The 1 Colossus did fall. And I don't think that Zan necessarily has to push in, but he's going for it. Takes a big EMP to the face. Vikings do shut down all the Colossus. Yeah, the final Colossus does fall. Novas keep zoning. So finding oh no! Oh my god, takes a massive Nova to the face! And because of all the stims, I mean, he still does lose all the Marauders. Ay, ay, ay. And Zan, he's breaking through. He breaks the main army. Takes down all the Vikings. And I guess that's something to bear in mind is, I mean, Novas, they can still one-shot Marauders, like, depending on the game state, just like that. Base is gonna go down. And GG gets called down. He takes the fight. He takes game number 1. GG. Whew. Oh my god. Mate, playing with Disruptors like they haven't been touched. Let's go. GG, well played. Zan takes the first game here. But again, I do think that Nicorette, he wasn't in a bad position. Remember, Nicorette, he had the stronger economy early on. He was able to take a supply lead as well. He was able to initially gain map control. But you could argue, and I think I would argue, that maybe Nicorette was a little bit too passive. It was a little bit too passive in the mid game. Again, we saw that thanks to the map, I should say as well, we saw that Zan was able to take the gold, get away with it, use that to help make up for his otherwise deficit, and able to, yeah, keep up when it came to the army composition, when it came to the army supply, and able to take it with one fell swoop, with one big fight. GG. GG, well played. And now we're getting into game number 2. This time, loading into this map for the first time tonight, it is often vetoed for good reason. We're loading into El Dorado. Welcome everyone to the new Golden Wall, but much smaller. A much smaller version of Golden Wall. We'll get into it. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of El Dorado, we have the red Protoss player. The returning ex-military Protoss. It is Zan. Picks up the names, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the blue Terran player. Down in the series, looking to bounce back in this best of 5. It is a Nicaract. Here we go. Shoots out who's Nicaract? Nicaract, he is a Terran player from the land of Russia. He's been around for a very long time. He has mainly been kind of rising through the ranks this year. Like, he's been competing for a long time, but if you think of European players like Geralt, like Christianer, like Wayne as well. Oh my god, that's an interesting bug. Oh no. The tuna's sick. It's green. But like young Yakov, for example, I would say that Nicaract is quite comparable to those players. Like Nicaract, again, he has been improving a lot here over the past year. He has been improving a lot, and he has been, I would say, rising the ranks on the European scene. I would say that nowadays Nicaract is one of the top European Terran players. Like, when I think of the top Terrans in Europe, I think top 3 obviously being Clem, Hero Marine, and Spirit. Those are top 3. You can kind of move them around how you please with Spirit and Hero Marine. With Gabe, they're top 3. Just behind them, I think that's where I put Nicaract. I think I'd say he's top 4. Like, I would rate Nicaract higher than Battle B, higher than Ageddon. Who else? What other Terran players do we have in Europe? When I think of like the mid-tier Terrans, I think of Ageddon, I think of Battle B, I think of Nicaract. And I'm sure there are many others that can come to mind. But yeah, I think I would place Nicaract just maybe just above them. Malnourished Tuna. Oh no. So yeah, top 4, top 5 European Terran is where I would place Nicaract. Like, you can argue his placement compared to like Battle B and stuff like that, I guess, but yeah, top 4, top 5. Baby Marine is good. He is good. I would say Nicaract is better. I would say that currently Nicaract is in stronger form, but that's another one. Yeah, for example, like Baby Marine. You'd also throw him in the mix. But from here, we are going to be settling in. And, oh god, I didn't even get to talk about the map. I didn't even get to talk about it. But welcome to El Dorado. There is a center gold base, and similar to Golden Wall, there are minerals that completely wall off this lower half of the map, where we have extra gold bases. We have these center gold bases as well. If you were active back in the day, a couple of years ago, when Golden Wall was in the map pool, this is very similar, where you have these minerals that can gain access to the lower half of the map, straight from your natural. On Golden Wall, if you remember, this mineral wall was actually in the main, not in the natural, so your main base was a little bit more exposed, but here it's going to be at the natural instead, and this center area is smaller than that on Golden Wall. So the rush distance by ground, I believe, is shorter on El Dorado. So there are some similar features on this map to Golden Wall, similar, but still quite different. And I would imagine that that's a big reason why this map is often vetoed. There's a big reason why this is the first time we're seeing it here tonight. It's a lot more unorthodox. It is a little more unorthodox. As Hallucination Scout comes in, does get eyes on the setup. It is going to be a 2-on-1 out of Nicaract. We saw this earlier today by Honmono. Similar setup here, where Nicaract, he's rushing into Stim and working towards those 2 medevacs to move out across the map with 16 Stim Marines. And Zan confirms. Zan is fully aware of what's going on, and back at home, he should be getting ready. Should be keeping eyes on the drop. For now, he's getting into his 3rd, following this up with his own Robo. Was initially a Twilight Council or a Blink-based opener. I'm not too fond of him moving out, and there we go, he does pull back. Double drop moving towards the main. We spoke about this earlier, but the rush distance by air is quite short, and Nicaract is going straight for the main of Zan. Moving out with 14 Marines, not 16. As he isn't fully loaded up. But headed for the main. Stalker's there at the natural. Blink is finishing up in 10 seconds, so is Stim. And we'll see what Nickrack can get done. Again, Zownie is more ready to defend the third, less so the main. See how quickly he does react. Medivacs, they do boost in. Zown does respond. And he pulls away in time. So good reaction out of Zown. He does pull away his workers. And Nickrack, he's going to be able to catch a couple of Stalkers here, but he's not going to be able to get too much more. 2 Stalkers go down, gets a 3rd Stalker. Not the worst trade. But was hoping for economic damage, and he does not get a single probe. The workers do survive, and Zown holds. Zown does hold a very nice defense here from our Protoss player. Getting into his own shield battery defense, securing himself, even trying to hunt down the Medivacs. Zown moving out, going for the Xel'Naga. Medivacs say race back home. And what I will say is, Zown, for now, is in a better position. He is in a better position. He's got that worker lead. He's on 3 bases. The 2-on-1 needs to get more damage done. I'm afraid to look, but looking at the trades, he got 4 Stalkers. That's okay, but Nickrack, he lost a Medivac as well. Did lose a Medivac in the process of that push. And he has to keep going. Meanwhile, attempting to mine through these mineral lines. But Classic's in position. Does contain Nickrack. Blinks over the wall. Drop for now, unscattered. Nickrack, he's looking for the Stalkers. Doesn't quite find them. Zown has a Xel'Naga and does spot the drop.
Your warriors have engaged the enemy.
And Zown now just building up towards his Colossus production. Colossus on the way. Also, is this the only location for the tuna? Oh, it's over the Protoss statue. Oh, no. There should be a tuna down here, right? Hold on, let's look. No. Just the one tuna. Aye. But this is the PTR, so there are certain like little bugs like that, little graphical bugs as well. Not necessarily working as intended. It's fine, it's fine. It's not the finished product, I should say. As Nickrack does move out. Headed towards the 3rd. Alas, Zownie has time to respond, getting in position. He's just secure on 3 bases. Likewise, Nickrack taking his own 3rd as well, expanding towards the south. What is this, Atlantic Ocean? Oh no. Not like this. As we do see, Zown actually commits. He does move out, snipes the Vikings. Vikings do fall. Colossus, they stand strong. And the Colossus, they do just so much damage in the back line. Nickrack, this is not a fight he wanted to take. Yeah, the Marines bleed out. And Zown, he breaks through. Pushing Nickrack back to the natural. Does have the high ground, does have a tank. More Vikings have arrived. And Zown doesn't need to commit. He's expanding behind this. Taking his 4th. Zown poking in. Oof. And has to pull back. Respects his tank, respects the high ground. And Nickrack holds. Does hold on. Getting his 3rd up and running. Building up. And hey, we're getting into the mid game. Let's go. Getting into the mid game here. Nickrack has access to the gold. Can try and take it. Likewise, Zown just trying to embrace his own economy. Working towards his own triple robo production. Oh my, that's a lot of robos. Not just that, Temple Archives as well. Towards Storm and Archons as well. So Zown just working on all his splash damage. Nickrack chilling back at home. Getting into drop play. Zown doing the same. War Prism is poised to dive into the natural. Nickrack is getting ready though. He has a turret on the way. Will help. And there's the 4CC. That's what we were waiting for. whether or not Nickrak does expand. And he's going for the 4th. And can take the gold. Technically, he could even mine this gold base as well from his half of the map, from this side. That was something that was done on Golden Aura as well. I mean, even on, instead of Amphion, even on Dynasty, things like that are done. Means it won't have the gas geyser, but can still be worth it. Nickrak moves out. Trading with the army, catching the observer. Oh, okay. So we're not going into disruptors. Instead, Xian going to be reinforcing with a more marauder heavy composition instead. Sorry, more immortal heavy composition for the marauders. What I meant to say. So the immortals are amassing. Nickrak looking for an expansion. Doesn't find one. Dropping into the main. Just keeping Xian busy, catching a couple of probes. 2 workers going down. Nickrak still being active. Takes the gold. And again, I'm sure Nickrak's not looking for a big fight yet. He doesn't have any ghosts. Ghost production just now being, it's just now getting underway. The first ghost has arrived, but it's not with the main army. So we have a very delicate dance. Just poking and prodding. Prism dips in. Ghost will defend back at home. Ooh. Nice catch by Xian. Gets a medevac. Gets one. Doesn't commit. That's a lot of Vikings. Jesus. That's how many? That's 10 Vikings for Nickrak. Should be enough. Disruptors coming in for a flank. Novas go off. They do not connect. And nice target firing here from Nickrak. Takes out both Disruptors. Disruptors go down. Colossus as well. The Vikings, they just shut down the Colossus. And Nickrak, he could try to break through this. There's still one Disruptor left. Has to respect the Nova. Pulls back. Sound taking another expansion. Nickrak throwing down extra starports, going for the fusion core, and getting into Liberator production. Now, do remember this, that the Liberator change was reverted. Initially, Liberator range was, in a way, kind of removed, and instead, the radius of the Liberation Zone was increased. But I believe that change was removed a couple of days ago. Not even a week, from my understanding. Yeah, it's a couple of days ago. There was an update to the patch. Oh! 2 more Liberators go down. Nice targeting. Pro Disruptors fall. Bjorn, is that you? Calm down. Decent EMP, but he still has to retreat. Yeah, there's no more freedom. Not yet. Has to pull back. Takes down the Zealots. But the robo-based army of Xian a little bit too much. Likewise, too much supply tied up in these Vikings as well. The Liberators have arrived. We have freedom. Correct, he does hold. If he was aware of this expansion, he could try to do something about it, as more Disruptors are building up. Nickrak is unaware. Xian taking more bases. More expansions uncontested. Yeah, Nickrak, he didn't scout the northern expansion. Likewise, the southern one as well. And now the goal base is exposed. Nickrak out of position. He's not ready for this. And the planetary may just go down. Yeah, Xian dives in. He will bring it down. Planetary falls. Mineral line as well. And Nickrak, he's racing over. He's trying to. But again, he missed the army rotation, and he didn't mine through these minerals, so the ground army takes a long time to actually go back and forth. And Nickrak unable to. Going for a backup gold, though. But what's terrifying is Xian's bank. Like Xian, he's maxed out, he has a bank to work with, and now if we wanted to, we could even start working towards Sky Toss. Like a fleet beacon, Cybercore upgrade, yep, there it is, Stargate. Stargate's on the way. He's thinking about it. He's getting ready for that late game. Nova's going off, decent snipes, but does Nickrecht have enough? There's too many balls! Too many Novas! Nice spread here by Nickrecht, but alas, he's being overwhelmed. The Vikings do land. They do distract some of the army. Nice snipes. And very nice target firing here. Nickrecht does snipe every single disruptor. We'll pull away. At the same time, Zelarambe does get past the liberation zones. Going for the mineral lines, going right into the natural. Oh my god. Yeah, they do get into the natural base, and Zhani's pulling Nickrecht apart. He takes down the main army, goes for the planetary. And he will bring it down as well. Yeah, with the help of these immortals, the planetary just melts. And Nickrecht, he's just running out of resources. He's running out of an economy. He's knocked down to 3 bases once again. And despite Nickrecht having some better fights, and it's true, he's been able to take some better engagements, he has no longevity in this game, right? It's like he's just starving out at this point. Goes down. He's got bases for days. He can afford these trades, just leading out some zealots, taking down marauders. Oof. And you can see the supply disparity now increasing here, more in favor of Zan. And Zan will be the first to remax. Back at home, he's got the Stargate. No Fleet Beacon yet, I believe, so he's not fully committing into Skytoss. There's no need to. Just focus on his ground-based army. And GG gets called. It just becomes a little bit too much, and Zan will take game number 2. GG. Does take the second game. And again, that was a pretty intense back and forth, and Nickrecht had some really good moments, but I do feel like the features of the map were really showcased there. Again, just how difficult it is to go back and forth between the northern half and the southern half, especially if you don't mine through the minerals. We saw that if you get caught out of position one time too many, I mean, you can lose a base. You can just lose a base, lose an expansion, lose a mineral line as well. Nickrecht was getting torn apart, pulled apart even. And Zan did overwhelm. GG. But shout out to Nickrecht, he was able to hold his own for a lot of that game as well. Was able to hold his own. And now we're getting into game 3. Can Nickrecht bounce back? Can he make a series out of this? Or does this all end in a 3-0? I'm hoping not. I'm hoping it doesn't end quite so suddenly. I'm hoping for a game 4, maybe even a game 5. But the pressure is on the Terran. The pressure is on. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have the red Protoss player from South Korea, just coming back from the military quite some time ago now, but still recovering, still looking to get back into that pro gaming scene. It is Zan. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the blue Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes down in this series. He has to fight back here and now to make a series out of this. It is Nickrecht. If you're just not tuning in, if you're curious, the intros, they're a little bit bugged because of the PTR, so I do apologize for that, but that's why the fanfares are showing different names. Just PTR things, don't worry about it. But it is not Rebellion, it is not Storm Spirit, Smurge. Regardless, Zan looking to spice things up, this time with a proxy. Let's go. Let us go. But yes. The chat is taking note of the change in the PTR as well to the planetary. True, does have less armor than previously, which does make it more vulnerable to Zealot run-bys and Ling run-bys as well, and Marines in general. Zealots, Lings, and Marines, they can do more damage. More so than previously. Do see Zan Sky in the main base. It is going to be double gas opener out of Nickrecht, a very safe opener out of our Terran player, going for a faster factory. Not bad. Considering that we're going for a proxy gateway, I do like this setup here by Nickrecht, very safe. has access to faster Hellions, faster Cyclones, going for a delayed expansion. As the first Stalker is being chronoed. Bearing in mind that the Stalker does produce a little bit faster as well. As Nickrak moves out, bearing in mind he did skip his SCV scout, just going for the Reaper scout across the map. CC on location. I believe the CC should be delayed. Oh, might even be cancelled actually. So I'm a little bit concerned. Adept runs into the Reaper. Stalker has arrived. As Nickrak is trying to get into his own Reaper Hellion production. GG gets called as the CC was going to be delayed and he didn't really have much at home to defend. Zaun will take the series 3-0. Smooch, baby, smooch. Not the way we wanted it to end here again, especially after game 2. Like, game 2 was very competitive. Game 2 was very back and forth between Zaun and Nickrak, but alas, here we did see that he didn't really have anything. He went for a Reaper opener with a Reactor follow-up. Reapers were on the way, and alas, he was going to be forced to at least cancel his command center, pull the boys. Nickrak, he wanted none of it. Does tap out. Does tap out in the end. GG, well played. Don't forget to join the Matcherino. GG, well played. Zaun will take it in the end. Congratulations, Zaun will be this week's Sparkling Tuna Cup champion. Congratulations, Papi. Congratulations. And honestly, this is a pretty big win. Zaun has played a couple of weeks already in our tournaments, and Zaun has yet to really make a deep run. It's been players like Young Yakov or Nightmare or Christianer or Geralt, like some of these bigger names, or Trigger as well. Some of these bigger names have been typically standing in his way. But as a reminder, because this tournament was on the PTR, we did have significantly less signups. A lot of the names that I mentioned weren't here this week. Nightmare, he had to forfeit because he wasn't able to download the PTR in time. And Geralt wasn't here. Trigger wasn't here. Some of these other big Protoss players that are typically dominant in these online tournaments. And in their absence, Zaun was able to rise to the top here. And again, it was not an easy run for him, but he was able to break through. And more importantly, I do appreciate that it does seem like Zaun is clearly more familiar with the PTR. I say more familiar, at least he's familiar with it. We saw him making use of that in his series against Hon Mono, where he was able to make use of the energy overcharge. Like, I do appreciate that a lot of players are actually investing like time and effort into the PTR. A big reason for that is because a lot of tournaments are actually using the PTR as well. Events like the KSRC, the Pigosaur Cup, and our tournaments as well. I already said this before, but if you just tuned in, for the next couple of weeks, our Open Cups, Sparkling Tuna Cup, and Tenacious Turtle Tussle will be on the PTR. Will be at least on the PTR, or I believe there is a mod that's being worked on in the base game, so you don't have to download the PTR. There's a PTR mod that's being updated, and if it's solid, if it has all the changes updated as well, especially with the most recent patch update, bear that in mind. If all the changes are there, then we can just use that as well. But we will be using that to provide testing, right? To provide testing, to provide feedback as well. That's at least our goal, at least for a lot of the organizers, a lot of the tournament organizers. It's something that I really do appreciate. It's something that we didn't have previously. For those that are, again, for those that were around during the EPT on season, the ESL Open Cups were never on the PTR, and they very rarely implemented like the upcoming maps or the upcoming like patch changes. That was just something that was not done in the ESL Open Cups. Now that we're in the off season, and now that a lot of tournament organizers have risen up to replace the ESL Open Cups, like ourselves, like Wardy, like Steadfast, Kalaris, and Rotterdam, Dave Tessa, and Chicken Man, because we're kind of in control of the Open Cups at the moment, we've all like in a way decided to just use the PTR, right? Because hey, usually without tournaments forcing players to play in the PTR, they just don't, right? They don't ladder on the PTR. They don't have a reason to really, and we're kind of forcing them to do so to try to get as much feedback as possible, to try to make sure that the next patch is as well tested, more so than any other. So yeah, that's kind of what a lot of us have done. That's why a lot of the Open Cups over the past week and the future weeks as well are going to be incorporated in those PTR changes and the new maps as well. and the new maps. So that is our plan. That is our goal. That is our initiative here, to try to make sure that we get the best version, the best patch possible, and make sure we get all eyes on it, and we, make sure we realize or we understand like what looks good, what doesn't look good, right? What works, what doesn't work, all that good stuff. So yeah, GG, well played. With that, congratulations to Zao. My condolences to Nicorrect, but again, very well played to make it all the way to the finals as well. Congratulations to Nicorrect for making it to second place, for Zao for making it from first place as well. And if you are curious, this event, Sparkling Tuna Cup, is a weekly tournament. Every single week we do host a Sparkling Tuna Cup, and again, next week, depending on the state of the mod, the PTR mod, we might be using that instead of forcing the PTR server. So that might be on the horizon. And we have a busy week ahead of us. Our next broadcast is going to be in 12 hours. In 12 hours time, we're going to be live on this channel with the KSL. I do apologize, but we were supposed to cast the KSL live on Saturday. I slept in. Fun fact, it was like 2 hours. It was like 2 hours until KSL, and I was like, what if I napped for like an hour? I was like, I'm tired. I barely slept. What if I just lie down for a little bit? I set all my alarms, and I did not wake up. I did not wake up in time. By the time I woke up, it was like 2 hours into the tournament, and it was like, oh, I think it's this. I'll do a replay cast. So in 12 hours time, we're going to be live on the channel doing a replay cast of this week's KSL. This week's KSL was not on the PTR. I was talking to Chickenman and Dave Testa, and they said that they didn't get a chance to implement that. They were a little bit busy this week, and most likely for the next KSL, they will be using the PTR. So this week, they didn't quite use it. Most likely next week, though. They just didn't have enough time to get it ready for the announcement. So KSL cast is going to be in 12 hours, and in 24 hours time from this message, we're going to be live with the Wardy TV Monday. What I can say is that I believe Wardy is not hosting his Open Cups, his Open Monday Cups on the PTR, because Wardy is hosting a separate PTR tournament. He's been hosting like a separate PTR event specifically for the PTR. He's keeping his Open Cups on the current patch. From my understanding. So that is going to be our next cast here. I guess our next two casts in 12 hours and 24 hours on the channel. Later on in the week, we have the Pigaso Monday that will be on the PTR. We have Olima League as well. Oh my god, the return of Olima League, papi. Let's go. That's going to be on Tuesday. That's going to be in, what, just under 48 hours. We're going to be live, not on Twitch, with Olima League. As a reminder as well, Olima League is sponsored by Chiswick, which is a new Korean platform, a new Korean streaming platform, and we're going to be casting that on Chiswick as well, not on Twitch. So I do apologize. He said it's sponsored by OC, so it needs to be played in ladder version. Yeah, that is true. Fun fact, Sparkling Tuna Cup is also usually sponsored by OSE. So because of that, our next weeklies are not sponsored by OSE. We took that blow just to have our event on the PTR. Smurge. Did make that decision. But yes, as is being posted in the chat, that is our Chiswick channel. So if you want to tune into Olima League, that's going to be again in 2 days' time. We're going to be live on Chiswick, not on here. So we'll be live on Chiswick. Oh, thank you for the bits. Thank you for the bits. Thank you. Where can play the maps? The maps are available on the PTR, and I believe some of the maps are available on in-game. And you just have to search them up. Just have to search up the new maps in-game, and you can find them. You have to put some extra work into it, but you can find them. Did you have an easy eye introduction? We did. That did happen. But yeah, so Olima League is going to be on Chiswick. What else do we have this week? We have Code for Giants Cup, the Nation's Total Tussle, the Pondcast, and Infinite League playoffs as well. So we have at least one broadcast a day, usually multiple broadcasts a day. So plenty of content here on the CranKy Ducklings. If you enjoyed the cast, if you want more StarCraft, if you want more content, if you want to tune in, then consider following. Consider following us here on Twitch, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. All things CranKy Ducklings. We also stream on YouTube at the same time. So if you can't watch live and if you want the VODs, then YouTube is the place to be. We have plenty of VODs. Plenty of VODs on YouTube. All the content, all the content. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. If you want to support the Sparkling Tuna Cup, you can do so via Patreon. As we mentioned before, all the money that we make goes towards our tournaments on Patreon. And I mean, you can see it underneath Nickrak's name. We currently make 256 USD on Patreon, and our goal is 320. That is our next stretch goal, to boost the prize pool consistently on a weekly basis. And further on from that, we can try to boost the prize pool and pay out top 4. Currently, only top 2. Only top 2 players get paid out in our tournaments. It'd be great to pay out top 4 instead, to, you know, spread the love and spread the money, spread the prize pool. But it all does depend on the support that we get on Patreon. So thank you. Thank you to all supporters we do get. We do appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Otherwise, with that, we're done. With that, we are going to be wrapping up. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys in 12 hours for some Korean StarCraft League for the KSL. Until then, thanks for watching. Stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. Who's live at the moment? Wardy. Speaking of Wardy hosting a PTR tournament, yep, he is hosting his own PTR event at the moment. I see that Eba is laddering as well, so we might raid Eba. I see Sort of is live. Quanta's. A lot of people are live. Jesus. Quanta is live. Lunacy is live as well. Rex. So yeah, plenty of other streamers are live out there. We'll give someone a raid, give them a chance, give them some support. We'll see you guys in 12 hours. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego.